Listen to me, my beloved child. This is not just another message, not just another video you scroll past. This is a divine appointment crafted by heaven itself. You are not here by chance. The timing is not accidental. I have waited for this exact moment to speak directly to your soul, because what I am about to share must be heard before this day ends. The sun may set in the sky, but there is a deeper sunset the enemy has tried to cast over your heart. But before the darkness creeps in, I am shining my light into your spirit. Hear me with your heart, not just with your ears. The weight you've been carrying has not gone unnoticed. You have felt overlooked, misunderstood, and alone even when surrounded by people. But I, the one who formed you in secret, have never taken my eyes off of you. I see what others miss. I know what you haven't spoken. There's no mask you can wear that hides your truth from me. And I say to you before this day closes, I must open your heart again. You've cried out for direction, for peace, for confirmation. You've questioned whether I'm listening. I'm not just listening, I'm responding. And this message isn't vague or general. It's targeted, personalized, specific to the depths of what you've been battling inside. Before the clock runs out on this day, let me in. Let my words rearrange the weight you've been carrying. Let this moment be the one where heaven invades your silence, and you finally realize your breakthrough didn't need more effort. It needed this encounter. You may be tempted to believe this moment is just another passing instant, like so many others that fade without meaning, but I need you to pause, to truly absorb what I am saying right now. This is not random. This moment is a divine orchestration. I, the King of Heaven, arranged this very second so you and I could meet without interruption. I pulled you away from every distraction, silenced the chaos for just long enough, and opened this sacred window of time to reach into the very places of your heart that you thought no one would ever touch. You did not find this message, I brought it to you. You didn't stumble across it, I whispered your name into the currents of time so that it would reach you at the exact moment your soul was ready. I am not speaking to millions right now. I am speaking to one you. This is how deeply personal I am. I know your battles, not just from observation, but from experience, because I've walked every tear-stained hallway of your heart. I've stood at the door of your soul and waited, sometimes days, sometimes years, for you to look up and meet my gaze. And now that you have, I will not waste this moment. This is not a generic encouragement or a shallow promise. I'm inviting you into a divine shift. You've been asking for me to show you that I'm real. This is your proof. The timing, the words, the inner pull you feel right now, it's me. Heaven has moved to bring this message to you. And I don't want you to miss it by brushing it off or doubting its depth. I want you to sit with it, breathe it in, and let me speak deeper than the noise you've grown used to. You survived many storms by pushing through, but this moment isn't about survival, it's about surrender. It's about allowing me to remind you that I'm not only aware of your life, I'm involved in every layer of it. Don't second-guess this encounter. Don't overthink the weight you feel in your chest. That's the presence of the one who created you, calling you into remembrance of who you truly are. Heaven knows your name, your pain, and your potential. And I sent this message to remind you your life is being guided, not by chance, but by my love. Tonight is unlike any other night you've experienced, not because of the hours it holds, but because of the spiritual weight it carries. This night is marked, set apart. Believe. While others may move through these hours unaware, I have drawn your heart to attention for a reason. There is something about this specific evening that heaven has chosen as a moment of alignment. The atmosphere around you may seem quiet or unchanged on the surface, but in the unseen realm, there is movement, deliberate, divine movement happening on your behalf. I need you to understand that I am calling you to partner with me tonight, not just listen. What happens in the next few hours will set into motion something that the enemy has tried to prevent for a long time. You felt the resistance lately, haven't you? The sudden discouragement, the strange delays, the emotional heaviness that seems to come out of nowhere. That's because the enemy is aware of the breakthrough that tonight holds. He knows what's about to shift if you say yes to me fully right now. That's why the distractions came harder. That's why your emotions have been on edge. Because this isn't just another sunset, this is a divine checkmate. I am presenting you with an invitation, not just to hear me, but to step into something that will change the course of what's ahead. I want you to sense how much is at stake in the spiritual realm, not to scare you, but to awaken you. This night is a birthing room, not a resting place. You are standing in a thin place where heaven is touching earth. Your decisions in this moment will echo far beyond the ticking clock. It's not about rushing or forcing anything, it's about yielding. There is a blueprint I've held over your life, and tonight, I want to reveal another piece of it. But you must be willing to see beyond your current emotions. I know you're tired. I know you've questioned if you're strong enough for what's ahead. But you don't need more strength, you need more surrender. You need to let go of the belief that breakthrough only comes through striving. Some of the greatest shifts in your life will happen not when you act, but when you align. And right now, I am asking for your alignment. There are divine appointments waiting to unfold from this night forward, but they will only release when your spirit says, "Yes, Lord. I'm listening. I'm ready." You're not behind schedule, you're right on time. But time is sacred, and tonight is sacred. Don't treat it as ordinary. Turn your heart fully toward me in these final hours. Let your worship rise not just from your lips, but from your willingness to trust me beyond logic. I see the battles ahead, and I am preparing you now through this very moment. Let tonight be remembered not as the end of another day, but as the beginning of a divine unraveling, the kind that only heaven could orchestrate, and only your yes can activate. What I am about to speak into your life has the power to shift the very foundation of everything you've been crying out to me about. I do not speak in empty echoes or shallow promises. I speak with authority, with intention, and with the fullness of eternal love. You have been praying sometimes with loud desperation, other times with quiet sighs that no one else noticed. You've lifted up requests that have carried weight far beyond words, and you've held on to hope even when it felt like hope was slipping through your fingers. But now, right now, I am leaning close to whisper the very answer your heart has longed to hear. This isn't just an update from heaven. This is a divine interruption to reveal the beginning of fulfillment. You see, the delay wasn't denial, it was preparation. While you waited, I was rearranging the unseen. While you questioned, I was reinforcing what could not be rushed. You thought I was distant, but I was drawing closer than ever before. The silence was never absence, it was me getting everything ready for the shift. And now, I'm placing something in front of you that cannot be missed, a moment that could change everything if you'll receive it with both hands open. I don't need you to figure it all out, I need you to trust me enough to take the first step when I speak. The things you've been praying for, clarity, healing, restoration, provision, peace, they've been echoing through heaven's chambers, and none of them have been forgotten. Not a single tear hath been ignored. Not a single word whispered in pain has gone unnoticed. But what you didn't know is that while you were asking me for answers, I was already preparing you to carry the weight of the blessing that was coming. I don't just want to give you what you asked for, I want to shape you into someone who can walk boldly in it without fear or doubt. And this moment, this message, is part of that shaping. What you do with what I'm telling you now will affect how you walk into the answers you've been praying for. Some doors are already swinging open in the spiritual realm, you just haven't seen them manifest yet. But they are there. They are waiting for your spirit to respond in agreement. The shift is not just happening around you, it's starting within you. Your prayers are colliding with my perfect timing. You're stepping into a season where prayers won't just be spoken, they'll be fulfilled. But don't miss the significance of now. What I say next is meant to ignite something that's been lying dormant. Your prayers are not wasted. Your waiting has not been for nothing. What's about to unfold will make sense of all the confusion. What I'm saying right now, if received with open hands and faith, will set into motion a transformation that even your past cannot sabotage. You've been faithful in the asking. Now be bold in the believing. I am speaking now to release what's been held back. And what is released will not be random, it will be the very thing your heart once feared would never come to pass. Get ready, my child. You're closer than you think. And tonight, everything can change. Clarity, this is the word your heart has been pleading for in the silence. You've cried out, not for riches, not for applause, but simply to understand. You've whispered questions in the dark, longing for a beam of truth to pierce the fog of confusion that surrounds you. I've seen you sitting with decisions that felt too heavy to make, not because you lack wisdom, but because the weight of consequence has made you cautious. You have asked, again and again, Lord, just show me. Just make it clear. And now, tonight, I am answering. My child, listen closely. I am giving you clarity, not through signs written in the sky, but through my voice right now. You do not need to chase confirmation from the world when the Creator of the universe is speaking directly to you. You've been torn between choices, second-guessing your instincts, fearing that one wrong step will take you off course forever. But I want to remind you I am bigger than your missteps. I'm not a fragile plan easily broken by human decisions. I work all things together, even your uncertainties. But that doesn't mean I want you to walk in confusion. That's not my desire for you. Confusion is not for me, it's a tool of the enemy to paralyze you. But tonight, I remove it from your path. I'm not just showing you the way forward, I'm steadying your feet to walk it. There is a direction that your spirit has sensed, but your mind hath been too afraid to trust. That quiet pull, that persistent nudge, that's me. I've been speaking, not always in dramatic ways, but in the steady stirrings within your heart. Stop dismissing what I have already confirmed in stillness. You've been waiting for louder answers, but clarity doesn't always come in noise, it comes in peace. If something brings peace to your soul and aligns with my word, that is me. If something keeps leading you into fear, confusion, or compromise, it is not from me. Clarity is not always about knowing every step, but about knowing the first one to take, and tonight, I am illuminating it. Trust what I've already taught you. You don't need a new sign, you need to obey the last word I gave. Don't wait until everything makes perfect sense. Obedience often precedes understanding. You've wanted to know the outcome before you commit, but I'm asking you to commit before you see the outcome. That's where faith lives. That's where miracles move. You are not walking blind, you are walking with me. I will not let you fall. Even if the road curves, I will be your compass. Even if others don't understand the direction you're taking, follow me. I am not calling you to be understood by men, I'm calling you to be led by me. This clarity I give tonight is not fragile, it's firm. And it comes with my peace. Let that be your confirmation. The way forward will not always feel easy, but it will feel right in your spirit. Trust that. Step with that. I am not asking you to figure it all out. I'm asking you to follow where I lead. And tonight, I've placed the next step directly before you. Take it, child. Take it, and watch everything begin to align. I have been closer to you than your own breath in those moments when fear crept in and you said nothing. I watched the battles you fought behind closed doors, the ones no one else could see. Not even those closest to you knew the weight of it, but I did. I saw how you laid in your bed, staring at the ceiling, hoping the spinning thoughts would quiet down. I felt every beat of your heart when it raced with dread, when the unknown seemed too overwhelming to face. You carried your fear so quietly, like a secret folded into your chest, afraid that if you spoke it out loud, it might become more real. But my beloved, I already knew. I've known all along. Not one anxious thought has passed through your mind that I didn't catch. Not one tear of uncertainty rolled down your cheek without my awareness. You've tried so hard to be strong, to hold it together, to not let anyone down. But I never asked you to carry it alone. I never expected you to pretend. I saw the trembling hands that held onto hope even when your faith felt fragile. I watched the way you smiled through the panic, how you encouraged others while your own soul cried for reassurance. I do not rebuke you for being afraid. I do not shame you for your silence. In fact, I honor the quiet bravery it takes to keep moving forward when fear is trying to hold you back. But now, I'm calling you into a new posture, one not rooted in survival, but in surrender. I don't want you to wrestle anymore. I want you to release. Give me the fears you've been too afraid to voice. Speak them in the safety of my presence. I'm not here to dismiss your emotions, I'm here to hold them. I am not like others who don't understand or grow weary of your cries. My ears are tuned to the sound of your pain, and my heart responds with compassion every single time. You've asked for courage, and I'm not giving it to you as a force. You will find it in me. The fear will not have the final word. It has tried to control your decisions, slow your steps, mute your voice, but no more. Tonight, I place my hand over your heart, and I speak peace. I silence the fear not by ignoring it, but by overwhelming it with truth. The truth is, I have never left you. The truth is, I am in the middle of every uncertainty. The truth is, what you fear has no power over the one who walks with me. And you do walk with me. Even when you stumble, I am steady beside you. Even when you hesitate, I am patient. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too weak to win this battle. The war in your mind is not who you are, it's where your healing begins. And I am the one who brings healing in waves of grace, not pressure. There is no rush. There is only the invitation to trust me with even this. You've been asking, what if I fail? But I am whispering, what if you fly? You've been haunted by what if it goes wrong? But I am declaring, what if it goes better than you imagined? The enemy has used fear to paint pictures of disaster, but I am painting a future filled with purpose, peace, and promise. You do not have to be perfect to receive it. You just have to be willing to believe me. Tonight, I am not just watching your heart wrestle, I am reaching in to hold it steady. Let me in. Let me soothe what's been unsettled. Let my presence be the place where your fear finally dissolves into faith. I have watched you, yes. You continue forward when everything around you begged you to stop. I've seen you wake up to heavy days and still choose to rise, even when your heart felt like it was sinking. I noticed the way you kept serving, kept helping, kept hoping, even when no one clapped for you, even when no one reached back. You've poured yourself into people who didn't pour back, and still, you loved them anyway. You've smiled while your soul ached, encouraged others while your own spirit was gasping for air. Do not think for one moment that I missed any of it. Every act of faithfulness, every unseen sacrifice, every moment where you chose to do good when it would have been easier to walk away, I saw it. I recorded it. And I've been honoring it in ways you didn't even realize. You thought, does it even matter? Does anyone care that I'm trying this hard? Yes, it matters. And yes, I care. I am not like people who overlook what's hidden behind the scenes. I am the God who sees in secret and rewards openly. You've been laboring in silence, but soon I will reveal the fruit of what you've sown. It's easy to keep going when applause surrounds you, but you kept going in the silence, in the shadows, when no spotlight affirmed your steps. That kind of faithfulness touches heaven. That kind of devotion is rare, and I call it holy. You have endured long seasons without recognition, and still, you chose me over bitterness. I know there were moments you felt invisible, like your value depended on what others saw or said. But hear me clearly. Their silence does not define your worth. Your reward does not come from people, it comes from me. And I am a faithful rewarder. I have not turned my face from you. I've leaned in closer. I know the tears you cried on your way to do what was right. I know the strength it took to keep going when you felt like breaking. You didn't give up, and that means something. The world teaches that results matter most, but I tell you, it is your heart that I weigh. And your heart, child, has remained faithful in the fire. You didn't see me clapping, but I was. You didn't hear me whisper, "Well done," but I did. And those quiet moments of obedience have created ripples in the spiritual realm. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared for revealing. Soon, What you've carried in secret will be celebrated openly. I will cause honor to find you not because you demanded it, but because you were faithful when it cost you something. The people who overlooked you, leave that to me. The rooms that never invited you, leave that to me. You didn't need their applause, you already had my approval. And tonight, I want to remind you that the seeds you've planted in tears will bloom in joy. You haven't wasted your strength. You've invested it. And my promise is that those who do not grow weary in well-doing will reap a harvest at the appointed time. This is not the end of your story, it's the turning of the page. I'm lifting the veil of invisibility. Not so the world will admire you, but so they will see what it means to walk faithfully with me. So keep going, even when it's hard. Keep walking, even if it's unnoticed. Because I see it all, and I reward it all. Your quiet persistence is precious to me, and I'm turning it into something far greater than you ever imagine. There is more happening around you than your eyes can see. What you've done in obedience when no one was watching, when no one celebrated it, when it cost you dearly but you still said yes to me, is now releasing power into places you've never stepped yet. You thought your obedience was quiet, small, unnoticed. But in heaven, it roared like thunder. The moments when you chose righteousness instead of compromise, when you forgave even though they never apologized, when you gave generously though no one thanked you, those were not small decisions. They were acts of great faith. Each one with a key. And I tell you now, those keys have been unlocking doors in realms you do not yet see. There are things shifting above your life right now, realms of influence, favor, access, and protection because of the way you honor me in silence. I see what men overlook. I treasure what the world disregards. Obedience that costs something is obedience that carries weight in eternity. You did not perform for attention, you obeyed because you love me. And that love has been building a foundation under your feet so solid that even when the winds of adversity blow, you will not be moved. Others may try to understand why things begin to open up for you, why you walk into opportunities you didn't apply for, why your name is spoken in places you've never entered, but I will know the truth. I will know it's because you honored me when it was difficult, because you chose faithfulness in the hidden place. I'm about to bring you into rooms that reflect my favor, not your striving. You never had to manipulate to get ahead. You didn't chase shortcuts or depend on man's approval. You simply obeyed, even when it meant walking alone. And that obedience, it echoed. It sent signals into the spirit realm that you are one who can be trusted with more influence, more anointing, more responsibility, more blessing. You passed the test not by being loud but by being loyal, and I reward that kind of heart. Right now, there are doors opening because of your yes. Not just physical doors, but spiritual ones, gateways into deeper intimacy with me, invitations into supernatural peace, favor with those in authority, sudden shifts in long stagnant situations. It's not random. It's not luck. It's obedience bearing fruit. And I want you to know this is only the beginning. What I'm about to do through you will not be explainable by logic. People will look for natural reasons, but they won't find them, because what's happening is not natural. It's divine. It's the reward for the choices you made when no one else was clapping, when your hands were trembling, when your heart was breaking, but you still lifted it up to me and said, "Yes, Lord." I haven't forgotten that moment. I haven't forgotten that hour. I haven't forgotten that tear-streaked prayer. You've gained access to places your enemies can't shut. And as more begins to open, remember this. Stay obedient. Stay low in posture, but high in expectation. Don't try to make anything happen, just keep walking with me. Keep saying yes even when it's quiet. Keep trusting even when it's slow. Because doors that obedience opens cannot be closed by man, by time, or by opposition. You are walking into things that were written before the beginning of time because you obeyed in the moment you didn't think mattered. It mattered. And now, heaven is responding. You've wondered where I was when the silence felt unbearable. You've looked for signs, waited for confirmation, searched the skies for a whisper, and still felt like heaven was quiet. I know how that silence shook you. I know how it made you question your prayers, your direction, even your worth. But hear me now, my child, I was never absent. I was never indifferent. I was working. Just because you didn't see movement doesn't mean I wasn't moving. My greatest work in your life has often happened in the spaces where you heard nothing. I work in stillness. I build in shadows. I form miracles in quiet. I never stopped listening, never stopped weaving together every detail with precision. You thought nothing was happening, but what you didn't see was how I was aligning hearts, shifting timelines, softening the hardened, preparing resources, removing wrong influences, opening invisible doors, and strengthening your spirit to carry the blessing that was on the way. I was delaying you not to punish you but to protect you. I saw what you could not. I saw the trap the enemy set up in the path that looked easier. I saw the heartbreak you would have faced if I gave you what you wanted too soon. So I worked. Quietly. Patiently. Perfectly. Behind the curtain of your understanding, I rebuilt things that were never meant to fall again. I healed places in you that you didn't even know were broken. I shielded you from attacks that would have broken your spirit. And all the while, you felt abandoned. But I never left. The silence was not absence, it was strategy. When you cried out, I didn't ignore you. I leaned in closer. I heard every whispered prayer, even the ones you didn't finish because tears interrupted your words. I caught each one. They became the rhythm to which I worked behind the scenes. You were not forgotten, you were being formed. I allowed the silence so that your dependence on me would grow deeper than your desire for instant answers. I was preparing you for a version of your future that far exceeded the one you had pictured. And now, that silence is shifting. You're about to begin seeing the evidence of what I was working on all along. Sudden movement. I expected doors. People who once resisted you now turning in your favor. Circumstances that felt frozen beginning to melt under the heat of my timing. But don't just rejoice in the results, rejoice in the truth that even when you couldn't hear me, you were never outside of my care. This season has taught you that my voice is not the only proof of my presence. My hand never stopped moving, and it's still moving now. As things begin to unfold, I want you to remember how far I've carried you, even when you didn't realize I was holding you. I want you to remember the prayers you thought went unanswered because I'm about to answer them in ways you never saw coming. I was writing a better ending than the one you asked for. The delay has always been divine. And now, what was once invisible will be undeniable. So breathe. Rest. Trust again. Because even when you hear nothing, even when the heavens seem quiet, I'm the God who is always at work, especially behind the scenes. There were moments late at night, in quiet corners, in rooms where you felt invisible, where your heart shattered in silence. Tears rolled down your face, not in front of crowds or even in prayer gatherings, but alone. Hidden. Painfully hidden. You didn't always sob loudly. Sometimes, the tears came without sound, sliding down your cheeks while you held your breath so no one else would hear. And you wondered if those tears even mattered. You questioned whether I noticed, whether I cared, whether they were seen by anyone beyond your own weary heart. Let me tell you this now. Heaven noticed. I noticed. Every tear you've ever cried in secret was precious to me. Not a single one was wasted. I captured each one, not as sorrow to be forgotten, but as seeds that I've buried in the soil of eternity, seeds that are now beginning to bear fruit. I saw the moments where pain broke through your strength. I saw how you kept showing up, kept trying, kept believing even while breaking inside. The world around you never saw those moments, but I did. And I didn't just watch, I wept with you. Yes, child, I wept too. You've never cried alone. You've never mourned in a void. I've always been there, not just observing but feeling every tremble in your spirit, every ache in your chest. When you wiped your eyes and whispered, God, I can't take this anymore. I wrapped my arms around your soul, even when you didn't feel it. I gave you breath to face the next day. I whispered strength into your spine. I sent my angels to surround you, not with dramatic displays, but with quiet reinforcement. You thought you were just surviving, but what you were doing was sowing something sacred. Those tears were not signs of weakness, they were evidence of deep faith, of a heart still choosing to trust even when nothing made sense. And tonight, I want you to understand how those tears have shifted things in the spirit. What was broken has invited my healing. What was surrendered in sorrow has prepared the way for joy. You've cried tears of disappointment, betrayal, loss, longing, confusion, and now I'm turning those tears into testimonies. I'm about to redeem every drop of pain. I know you thought you lost time in those seasons of weeping, but you didn't. You were gaining something eternal: compassion, depth, strength, insight, and closeness to me that can't be manufactured in easy seasons. You became familiar with my nearness in the dark. And now that you've learned how to walk through the night with me, I'm bringing you into a sunrise. The tears that no one else knew about are about to become the reason others will be set free. You'll speak healing to them not because you read it, but because you lived it. You endured the tears, and now I am filling your hands with oil to pour onto others who are walking their own painful path. Your tears have given birth to a calling, and I will use your pain, not to define you, but to refine you. You are not broken, you are beautifully rebuilt. And when the world sees you walking with joy, they will not understand how someone who cried so deeply could smile so freely. And you will tell them, it's because Jesus never let go. Tonight I honor your hidden tears. I call them holy. I call them remembered. I call them powerful. And I say to you now, joy is coming. The kind of joy that doesn't erase the memory of pain, but transforms it. The kind of joy that shines through scars, not despite them. I have not forgotten your tears, my child. I have treasured them, and I am turning them into a harvest of hope, starting now. You remember those moments, the ones that felt like the world was caving in around you, the ones where everything familiar turned cold, and even the comfort of hope seemed too distant to reach. You sat with pain so deep it made the air feel heavier, and in those moments, a quiet lie crept into your heart. I am alone. But now, I come to uncover that lie and set your spirit free with the truth, my child. You were never alone. Not for one heartbeat. Not in one tear. Not during one sleepless night. I was there. Even when your feelings failed to confirm it, even when your eyes could not see me, even when your prayers felt like they hit a wall, I was there. My presence did not leave because you felt overwhelmed. I did not walk away because your strength wavered. In fact, those were the very moments I drew closest. I sat with you in the silence. I held you when no one else knew you needed to be held. I wrapped my arms around your soul when your mind was fighting for peace. I walked beside you through every hallway of confusion, through every valley of grief, through every wave of anxiety. You never faced those battles alone. I was the breath in your lungs when fear threatened to suffocate you. I was the strength in your legs when you had nothing left but the will to stand one more day. I was the whisper of calm when chaos screamed louder. I was the steady when everything else was shaking. And even when you pushed me away out of frustration, out of sorrow, or out of confusion, I stayed. I wasn't offended by your honesty. I wasn't wounded by your doubt. I welcomed your rawness, because I would rather have the real you than a version pretending everything is fine. Your darkest hour did not frighten me. I stepped into it with you. I carried the weight when your arms gave out. And now, I want you to see just how present I've always been. Look back not with regret, but with revelation. How did you make it through those seasons? How did your heart survive the pain you thought would break you? It wasn't just resilience. It wasn't just time. It was me. I upheld you. I shielded you from things that would have completely destroyed you. Even when you felt broken beyond repair, I was gently holding every shattered piece, planning how I would rebuild you stronger, fuller, and more whole than you had ever been. You may not have seen me in the moment, but you're still standing because of me. My faithfulness is the reason your story didn't end in the darkness. I was the one breathing courage into your chest when you didn't even know you were taking another step forward. And I'm still with you now. Not only am I walking with you today, I am already in your tomorrow. My love doesn't fluctuate based on the season you're in. Whether you're on a mountaintop or in a pit, my nearness remains the same. You were never left to figure it out on your own. You were never truly abandoned, even when people you trusted walked away. I stayed. I always will. So let this truth settle into your soul like healing balm. You are not alone now, and you never have been. I was with you in the darkness, and I will be with you in the light. I was your comfort when the night stretched long, and I will be your joy as the sun begins to rise again. Trust my presence even when your senses can't trace it. Believe my love even when circumstances challenge it. Because I am not going anywhere. I will walk with you until the very end and beyond. You've kept walking when it would have been easier to stop. You stood your ground when everything inside of you begged to collapse. You've continued to believe even with trembling hands and a weary heart. And I want you to know, child, that none of that was in vain. There is a breakthrough divinely timed and perfectly prepared attached to every step you've taken in faith. You've questioned why it's taken so long, why the doors haven't opened yet, why the prayers still feel unanswered. But here's what you haven't seen. Your endurance has been building something more valuable than anything instant could ever provide. Every time you chose to stay faithful when it didn't make sense, you were laying bricks of unshakable purpose. Every time you said, "I'll keep going," even through pain and confusion, you were aligning your soul with my timing, not the world's pace. The enemy wanted you to give up right before the shift. He tried to wear you down, delay your vision, and drain your energy, not because you were failing, but because you were getting closer. Yes, closer. Breakthrough isn't a myth, a motivational phrase, or a vague possibility. It's real. It's alive. It's already in motion. And your endurance is pulling it into view. You didn't miss it. You didn't disqualify yourself. It wasn't delayed because you lacked faith. It's arriving in a fullness that could only come from a place of maturity. You are being trusted with something that requires depth, and that depth was cultivated in the long walk, in the daily obedience, in the waiting room. I am proud of you for not walking away. You didn't realize how powerful your "still here" truly is. Every time you got back up, the heavens celebrated. Every time you chose to believe again, angels were dispatched to strengthen your path. You see, endurance isn't just about surviving, it's about preparing you to hold what's coming without it crushing you. I didn't want to give you a breakthrough you couldn't carry. So I shaped your shoulders, deepened your character, rooted your faith not to punish you, but to equip you. And now, the clouds are beginning to part. The first signs of the shift are beginning to emerge. It may come gently at first, an unexpected favor, a sudden change in conversation, a peace you haven't felt in months. But then, it will multiply. What once felt impossible will begin to feel inevitable. Not because you forced it, but because you endured with me. I've been walking beside you, matching your every step. When you limped, I steadied you. When you couldn't move, I carried you. And now, I'm bringing you to the place where endurance meets reward. You won't just survive this season, you'll testify about it. You'll speak of the valley, not with bitterness, but with authority. Because you've been there. You walked it with me. And now, your story will become someone else's map. They'll look at your life and say, if God did it for them, He can do it for me too. And you'll smile not because it was easy, but because it was worthy. My beloved, breakthrough is not coming apart from you, it's coming because of you. Because you stayed. Because you trusted. Because you endured. And now, I'm stepping in to do what only I can do. Watch it. The doors will open. The path will clear. The answers will come. And it will be undeniable that it was my hand. A coincidence. Not luck. Me. I am the rewarder of those who endure. and your reward is on its way. You've been waiting for me to move, and I am. You've been praying for the next step, and it's already forming. But my beloved, before the breakthrough unfolds before your eyes, before what you've been hoping for takes shape in your reality, I need you to pause and give me your undivided heart tonight. I need more than a passing glance. I need more than half listening while you're still clinging to yesterday's noise. I need your full attention, not because I require it for my sake, but because you do. If your heart is split between me and your fears, between my word and your worries, you'll miss what I'm saying in this holy moment. There is a whisper I want you to hear tonight, a direction that won't shout, a guidance that won't compete with your distractions. It's still, it's precise, and it's going to unlock the clarity you've been asking for. But you must quiet everything else. Lay down the weight of trying to predict what's coming. Lay down the constant overthinking that steals your peace. Lay down the tension that's been wrapped around your shoulders like a chain. I know the demands on your life have been pulling you in all directions. I see the pressure. I feel the fatigue. But I also see what's coming, and I know what this moment requires. This night is a threshold. What you choose to give me right now will set the tone for how you receive what's next. Don't rush past me in your pursuit of the promise. I am the source of it all, and I'm not withholding the blessing. I'm preparing your spirit to carry it with wisdom. But preparation requires attention. It requires intimacy, and intimacy cannot grow in noise. It's nurturing in stillness. That's why I am calling you to stop everything else and come away with me, even if only for a few moments. Step out of the rhythm of the world and into the rhythm of my heart. Let me reset your perspective. Let me show you the angles you've missed. Let me shift your view so you stop seeing things through fear and start seeing them through faith. I want to speak something into your spirit tonight that you've never heard before. A personal word, a divine instruction, a healing truth. But it cannot reach you if you're only half present. I will not force my voice to compete with your scrolling, your worrying, your busyness. My voice deserves full access to your heart. Because when I speak, I bring peace that no storm can undo. When I whisper chains break, internal chain, emotional chain, generational winds too. What I want to release into your life tonight could shift the entire atmosphere around you, but you must meet me with your whole heart. Not distracted, not double-minded. Just you and me. This isn't about religious effort. It's not about earning anything. It's about posturing your heart to receive what is already on its way. Don't let noise rob you of this encounter. Don't let doubt mute the very word your spirit is starving for. I am here, closer than your breath, ready to reveal what's next, but first, I need your attention. Fully, freely, willingly. I need your gaze, your ears, your stillness. Because this moment isn't just important, it's sacred. Don't overlook how significant this night is in the timeline of your life. Heaven is leaning in. Angels are watching over you. The Father is speaking. And all I ask is that you pause the world so you can truly listen, not with pressure, but with peace. This is not just preparation. This is alignment. Give me your focus, and I will give you a word that will carry you through storms you haven't even seen yet. This is the exchange. I long for your attention for my voice, your stillness for my direction, your openness for my instruction. And when you give me your attention tonight, I will give you something far greater, revelation that changes everything. There's a sound that I want your spirit to catch tonight, not just any sound, but my voice, speaking directly to the deepest part of you. But to hear me clearly, you must make a choice to silence the other voices that have been crowding your heart. The world is loud, isn't it? There's always something shouting for your attention: opinions, deadlines, emotions, notifications, expectations, memories from the past, fears about the future. Each one presses in, each one demands space. But I, the one who created the very sound waves you hear, do not force myself into chaos. I speak in clarity, but that clarity requires quiet. I know the noise around you has been constant. You've tried to find me in it, But I'm not in the confusion. I'm in the stillness that comes when you turn everything else down. And tonight, I'm inviting you into that stillness. Not to punish your distractions, but to free you from them. Because I miss your undivided heart. I miss the moments where you lingered, not for answers, but for intimacy. You weren't created to be in constant noise. Your soul was designed to breathe in my presence, to soak in my words without interference. And right now, I want you to disconnect from the clutter so you can reconnect with me. That doesn't mean escaping the world. It means stepping out of the mental storm and entering the sanctuary I've prepared for you, right here, right now. I've seen how overwhelmed your mind has been, racing with what-ifs, spinning with questions, echoing with voices that don't come from me. Voices that tell you you're not enough. Voices that question your purpose. Voices that weigh you down with anxiety and rush. But none of those voices speak the truth I authored over your life. My voice is different. My voice doesn't pressure, it pulls you gently. It doesn't confuse, it confirms. It doesn't criticize, it corrects with kindness. And if you'll silence the noise, even for just a little while, you'll hear it again. Not the version of my voice filtered through your fear, but the real one. The one that brings you peace the moment it enters. The enemy has tried to keep you surrounded by distraction for a reason, because he knows that clarity comes when you truly hear me. And when you hear me, you walk with confidence. When you hear me, lies lose their power. When you hear me, even the storm around you must bow to the calm within. I want that for you. I want you to hear me without distortion. I want you to recognize when I'm speaking, so you don't second-guess my instructions. But you can't do that while tuning into every voice except mine. So tonight, I ask you to be intentional. Lay aside the distractions. Turn off the noise, not just around you, but within you. Bring me your wandering thoughts. Bring me the swirling emotions. Let me quiet the storm inside so you can clearly hear what I'm about to speak. I've never stopped speaking, but now I want you to experience the power of truly listening. And you won't need to strain to hear me. I will make myself unmistakably known to you. My sheep know my voice. And you, my beloved, are mine. You've known me before, but I'm about to reveal myself in a deeper, clearer way. But first, you must be willing to come away from the crowd. Even if only in your heart. Even if only for a few minutes. Set the phone down. Step outside if you have to. Take a breath and say, Jesus, I'm here. I'm listening. That's all it takes. I'll meet you there. I'll speak louder than fear, deeper than doubt, clearer than confusion. I'll tell you what your soul has been aching to know. I'll speak life into your dreams, direction into your next step, healing into the wounded places. But it starts with quiet. It starts with space. It starts with you silencing the noise, not forever, but just long enough to finally hear what heaven's been trying to say. I am ready. I am speaking. Now come and hear me clearly. There's a reason the pressure has been so intense lately. It hasn't been random. It hasn't been without purpose. And no, it's not because you've done something wrong. It's because you're closer than you've ever been to stepping into what I promised you. And the enemy knows it. He sees what's coming, he can't stop it, but he's tried to shake you before you reach it. He's been trying to wear you down so that you surrender right before the shift happens. That fatigue in your spirit. That heaviness that seems to follow you even on days when everything looks fine on the outside. It's not because you're failing. It's because you're fighting, and the fight is happening not just around you, but inside you. The enemy knows that a tired heart is easier to discourage. A tired soul is easier to confuse. And that's exactly why he's targeted you with waves of doubt, with thoughts that whisper, maybe nothing is changing. Maybe you misheard God. Maybe it's too late. But child, hear me clearly now. I would not let you get this far just to leave you in the middle. I didn't bring you through that valley to watch you collapse before the peak. I've been strengthening you through the fire, not abandoning you in it. The resistance you've been feeling is not a sign to quit, it's a sign that you're stepping into something the enemy hoped you'd never reach. And that's why he's tried to exhaust you. He's thrown distractions, delays, emotional chaos, and subtle lies your way. He's been hoping you'll give up not because you're weak, but because he knows you're dangerous to his plans. What I've planted in you, the gifts, the calling, the purpose, it threatens the darkness. Your breakthrough isn't just about you. It's about what you'll carry to others. It's about the people you'll bless, the freedom you'll release, the change you'll usher in. And if he can discourage you now, he thinks he can silence the ripple that your obedience would create. But he has miscalculated one thing: you are mine, and my hand on your life is not fragile. I am guarding you even in the middle of this battle. I'm sending reinforcements into your spirit even now. I'm breathing new wind into your lungs. Where the enemy has tried to drain you, I'm about to overflow you. Where he's tried to confuse you, I'm about to make things undeniably clear. Where he's tried to isolate you, I'm reminding you of my presence, stronger than ever before. Don't fall for the trap of despair. Don't believe the lie that says nothing's happening. Everything is happening, just not in the realm your eyes can see yet. There's a movement in heaven on your behalf. There's a stirring in the spirit that's aligning things for you. But breakthrough doesn't arrive with a parade. It arrives through endurance. And you, my child, are enduring well. You may feel like you're crawling, but you're still moving forward, and that is victory. I've seen the enemy's attempts to slow you down, and I've allowed him to try, not because I want you harmed, but because I wanted you tested. Not to break you, but to prove how much stronger I've made you. This pressure has only revealed the foundation I've been building within you. And now, I'm about to make the enemy regret ever coming after you. Because what I'm releasing into your life will not be delayed much longer. Keep your head lifted. Keep your heart open. Keep your eyes on me. The enemy tried to wear you down because he knew the promise was near, but what he didn't know is that your endurance would outlast his attacks. And now, child, the promise is still coming. But you're stronger than ever, and you're ready to receive it. There are boundaries in the spirit that no force of darkness can cross, and I want you to know, child, that I have drawn one around you. Not with ink, not with fragile chalk that the wind could erase, but with the eternal authority of heaven itself. I have marked you as mine. You bear my name, my seal, my covering. You are not just protected, you are claimed. And because of that, the enemy has limits. He may try to whisper lies, to stir confusion, to push pressure, but he cannot go beyond the line I've drawn. He cannot snatch you from my hands. He cannot destroy what I have destined. He cannot stop what I have ordained over your life. You've felt his attacks, yes. You've seen the effects of his tactics: discouragement, resistance, fear trying to take root, but hear me. Those things do not have the final say. I do. The enemy is a deceiver, and part of his deception is making you believe he has more access than he truly does. He wants you to think that you're vulnerable, exposed, and powerless. But you are none of those things. You are covered, secured, and held within the fortress of my presence. There are angels assigned to you, yes, you. Not in theory, not as a poetic idea, but as a spiritual reality. They stand guard over you because I commanded them to. I've seen every plan the enemy tried to launch against your life, and I've allowed some pressure to shape you, but I've never permitted him to cross the line where I said, "This one belongs to me." You didn't even realize how many battles were fought on your behalf while you slept. You didn't see how many traps I dismantled before you ever walked near them. You don't know how often my voice thundered through the heavens saying, "No further. You may not touch them there." Yes, the enemy roars, but I have silenced lions before. Yes, the storm rages, but I have calmed oceans with a single word. You are not at the mercy of the enemy's power, you are under the mercy of my love. And that love doesn't just comfort, it defends. I've placed a divine perimeter around your life, and the enemy can only go so far. I am your shepherd, and when I mark a sheep as mine, I don't leave it to fend for itself. I guard it. I guide it. I restore it. And I fight for it. You are not just someone I know, you are someone I've chosen. And with that choice comes protection the enemy cannot penetrate. You may still face warfare. You may still feel the resistance. But you will never face it without my authority going before you. The devil fears what you carry, and that's why he's tried so hard to stop you. But he cannot curse what I have blessed. He cannot reverse what I have promised. He cannot cancel what I have created in you. You belong to me. The truth is your security. That truth is your shield. And when fear comes to press against you, let it find the boundary. I established a holy line that says, you may not touch this one's destiny. The pain may still come, but the destruction will not. The fire may surround you, but it will not consume you. The enemy may push, but he will not prevail. Because what is mine is marked, and you are mine. This is not just a word of encouragement, it is a declaration from the throne of heaven. You have been marked by grace, sealed by my Spirit, chosen by my hand. The battle you're in may feel fierce, but I have already decreed your victory. Hold fast to that. Let your faith rise not in your strength, but in the certainty that I have drawn the line, and the enemy will not cross it. You are not drifting. You are not forgotten. You are not a wandering soul left to figure things out on your own. You are mine. That truth is more than a gentle reassurance, it is a divine decree sealed by eternity itself. I have claimed you with my own sacrifice. I called you by name before anyone else ever knew you existed. And when I claimed you, I did not do so with temporary affection or conditional love. I marked you as mine with a commitment that cannot be broken, shaken, or overturned by time, failure, fear, or circumstance. You've worried at times that you've strayed too far. You've wrestled with whether you've disappointed me beyond repair. But I tell you now, there is no force in heaven, on earth, or beneath it that can rip you out of my hands. Not sin, not shame, not failure, not doubt. You are wrapped in my grip, and my grip is not weak. I don't hold you loosely. I don't handle you with uncertainty. I don't hesitate to call you my own, not even when you're at your lowest. I knew everything about you before you ever took your first breath, and still I chose you. Still I pursued you. Still I died for you. I didn't rescue you just to watch you fall away. I redeemed you so that you could walk with me forever through the valley and on the mountaintop, in weakness and in strength. When you stumble, I do not loosen my hand. When you question, I do not let go. I remain. I hold. I carry. And I will not lose what belongs to me. You've been through battles that could have made others turn back, and yet, here you are. Not because you never broke, but because I never did. You've been surrounded by doubt and pressure, but you never slipped from my hands. When life overwhelmed you, and the noise was too loud to think clearly, I was holding you steady even when you didn't realize it. I want you to truly grasp this, my child. My hold on you is stronger than your hold on me. You don't have to earn your place with me every day. You don't have to beg me to stay close. I chose closeness with you long before you ever knew how to seek me. And my choice hasn't changed. Even on your messiest days, my grip remains unchanged. You can rest in that. You can let go of the fear that one mistake will make me leave. I am not like those who walked away when you were hurting. I am not like those who only stayed when you were strong. I am faithful, and my hand is steady. There is no enemy strategy, no human failure, no spiritual darkness strong enough to remove you from where I've placed you in the palm of my hand, beneath the covering of my presence. You are sealed. You are surrounded. You are mine. And because you are mine, everything that concerns you concerns me. Your battles are my battles. Your fears are my concern. Your future is under my watch. Nothing touches you without passing through me first. And I don't allow anything that won't ultimately work for your good. Yes, there will be trials. Yes, you will walk through things you don't always understand. But you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk uncovered, because you are walking as one who is held. So stop wondering if you're enough to stay with me. Stop fearing that your flaws will forfeit my favor. You're not in my hand because you're perfect. You're in my hand because I love you. And love holds on when everything else falls apart. Tonight, let this truth anchor you. You are mine. Completely. Irrevocably. Unalienably. And nothing, not even your own doubts, can snatch you from my hand. Nothing you've gone through has been wasted, not the tears, not the silence, not the deep aching that gripped your chest when no one else knew what you were carrying. I saw you all. I walked with you through every moment, even when you couldn't feel me. And now I say this with authority that hell cannot argue, and heaven has already confirmed. I am redeeming every second of the pain you've endured. Nothing has slipped through the cracks. No suffering is being ignored. No chapter is being thrown away. Everything you've lived through has been woven into a story that I am still writing, one that will shine brighter than you can currently imagine. The pain didn't destroy your purpose. It uncovered it. In the middle of your deepest hurt, something was being formed in you that couldn't be built in comfort. Strength that can't be shaken. Wisdom that won't be stolen. Compassion that reaches deeper than words. And now, I am breathing life into what was once wounded. You thought the pain would define you, but I have always planned to use it to refine you. I'm turning it all around, not just in theory, but in reality. What once drained you is going to be the very area I pour my power into. The places that were pierced are the same places where my glory will shine the brightest. It wasn't just suffering, it was sowing. And now, a harvest is coming. I've been preparing restoration that doesn't just return what was lost, it multiplies it. I'm not giving you a replacement. I'm giving you redemption. That means I will make it worth it. That means I will fill the very voids the pain tried to leave behind. The enemy thought he could use heartache to keep you stuck, but he didn't see how I would flip it into the foundation of your testimony. You've walked through what most people wouldn't have survived, and yet, you're still here. Not broken beyond repair. Not discarded, but chosen. Strengthened. Honored. There is honor in your endurance, child. Honor in the fact that you didn't let the pain make you bitter. Honor in how you kept believing, even when your voice trembled. Honor in how you didn't let despair swallow your calling. Others may never understand how deep the cuts went, but I do. And I honor that unseen fight. And now, I am raising you from the very ashes you thought would bury you. There will be beauty, but not beauty that ignores what happened, beauty that transforms it. Beauty that grows from it. You'll look back and not just see scars, you will see the places where healing took root. Where my grace met your grief. Where my power met your lowest point. And you will know it was never for nothing. I know it felt unfair. I know it seemed endless. But your tears watered the soil of miracles. Your waiting was not passive, it was prophetic. You've sown years of hope when it would have been easier to give up. And I have kept count. I have measured every heartbeat of sorrow, and I am responding with restoration in layers. Emotional, spiritual, physical, relational. Nothing you surrendered to me will return to you empty. It will come back blessed, pressed down, shaken together, running over. And when you walk into the days ahead, you'll carry something different, not the weight of the past, but the oil that was crushed from it. You'll pour that oil onto others. You'll bring comfort you once begged for. You'll speak healing from places that used to be haunted by memories. And it will be holy. My child, the pain was real, but so is the redemption. I am the God who doesn't leave things broken. I rebuild better, stronger, with eternal purpose. And that is what I'm doing for you. Every second you thought was lost, I am redeeming it. And when I redeem, I restore beyond imagination. There is no pain too deep, no sorrow too vast, that I cannot transform into a testimony of joy. I want you to hear that not just as a poetic phrase, but as a divine truth meant for you. I am the God who takes what the world labels as broken and makes it into something beautiful. I do not waste sorrow. I do not ignore grief. I do not rush past your pain as if it doesn't matter. Instead, I sit with you in it. I listen to the cries no one else hears. And then when the time is right, I do what only I can do. I turn it into a psalm. Not just any song, but one that carries power. A song that cannot be written through ease or rehearsed in performance. A song that carries the oil of real experience, raw, rich, and redemptive. The kind of psalm that others will hear and say, I didn't know healing could sound like that. That is what I'm forming inside you. You see, sorrow speaks a language of its own. It etches itself into your heart with sharp edges and heavy silences. But when I touch that sorrow, I change its shape. I rewrite its rhythm. I give it melody. And suddenly, what once made you weep becomes something you can sing. You're not pretending it didn't happen, you're proclaiming that it didn't destroy you. You're not denying the loss, you're declaring my presence in the middle of it. It is the power I hold. I am not intimidated by your sadness. I'm not offended by your mourning. I step into it. I put my hands on it. And I begin composing something eternal. When you thought you were breaking, I was collecting the pieces for a chorus that would rise from your life. This song will be your strength. It will remind you that your story is still going. And it will lift others who thought they were alone in their silence. I want you to know this. The heaviness you've carried will not remain your soundtrack. I'm shifting it. Slowly at first, quietly even but truly. I am tuning your heart to my promises again. What once felt hollow will be filled with harmonies of purpose. Your tears, your sighs, your long, sleepless nights, they are being gathered into a new song. And not just any song. A song that carries weight. A song that carries authority. Because when someone has walked through the valley and still sings, the atmosphere around them changes. You'll walk into places heavy with despair and your presence will carry hope. Not because you faked it, but because you lived it. And you let me transform it. That's what I do. I take ashes and breathe into them. I take laments and lace them with life. You're going to sing again, not just with your mouth, but with your whole being. And your song will reach others still trapped in their silence. It will tell them, there's a way out. You're still light. You're still music after morning. I don't erase sorrow. I elevate it. I raise it up from the dust and crown it with meaning. The ache you felt, that pain that pulsed beneath your chest, it wasn't the end. It was the introduction. And now, we're moving into the chorus. And what's coming will not be manufactured. It will be pure, beautiful, redeemed. Let me write your song, child. Don't let sorrow steal your voice. Don't let grief be the final word. I am giving you a new sound. A sound born in suffering but birthed through hope. You will worship me from places that once knew only weeping. And the sound will shake the atmosphere, because it was written by the one who walked with you through every moment of pain. Let me finish what I've started. The sorrow isn't the last note. There is a song rising, and I am the one composing it. The pressure you're feeling, the restlessness in your spirit, the heightened emotions that seem to rise without warning, those are not signs of defeat. They are signs of proximity. You are closer to the shift than you realize. The breakthrough, the open door, the answered prayer you've been longing for, it's not distant. It's drawing near, even now. I know it hasn't looked like things are moving. I know your circumstances may not reflect what your heart believes. But I need you to know that change doesn't always come with thunder and flashing lights. Sometimes it comes quietly, silently, like the first breath of dawn before the sun breaks the horizon. That's where you are now, on the edge of something sacred. You've endured the long night. You've walked faithfully through seasons of stretching. And while it may feel like things are standing still, I am moving more than you can see. I am shifting things behind the scenes, aligning people, unlocking hearts, rerouting what needed to be detoured so that what's meant for you will not be delayed a moment longer than necessary. You've been faithful with the small, with the unseen, with the waiting. And now the weight of glory is coming to meet you in the place of perseverance. Do not let this moment fool you into thinking you're far from it. The enemy would love nothing more than to convince you to give up when you're just a few steps away. He'll tell you that nothing's happening, that your prayers have fallen flat, that your efforts haven't mattered. But he's lying. You are walking through the final contractions before the birth. The tension you feel is the stretching required to receive something greater. You're not breaking, you're expanding. You're not being abandoned, you're being prepared. That's why the warfare has been intense. That's why your heart has felt like it's under pressure. Because the shift is near. I didn't bring you this far to leave you wandering in circles. I've been guiding your every step. Even the detours were part of my design. Even the delays were loaded with divine purpose. You are about to see the fruit of all that faithfulness. The seeds you planted with tears, the choices you made in obedience, the prayers you whispered when you could barely speak, all of it has been producing a harvest beneath the surface. And now, the surface is about to break open. You're going to see signs subtle at first, then undeniable. Conversations that feel divinely timed. Opportunities that suddenly align. Peace that feels unshakable. That's me marking your path with evidence of what's coming. But more than signs, I want you to lean into me. Because it's not the shift that defines you, it's our closeness. You've learned to trust me when things are uncertain, and that trust has built a foundation that the coming blessing will rest upon. You've learned how to worship without visible reward. You've learned how to serve when no one noticed. And now, I'm about to honor all of it. You are entering into the beginning of something new, something I've been preparing for you long before you've even asked. I don't just give you what you want, I give you what is best, what is lasting, what carries eternal value. And this shift you're stepping into is not just a reward, it's an assignment. I'm entrusting you with more responsibility, more revelation, more reach. And I can trust you with it because you didn't quit when it was hard. You stayed with me. You kept walking. And now, the atmosphere is changing. The winds are shifting. The tide is turning in your favor. You may not see all of it yet, but trust me, you're closer than you think. Keep your heart open. Keep your hands ready. Keep your faith anchored. The fulfillment is near. The shift has already begun. The closer you get to what I've promised, the more the resistance increases, and you've felt that, haven't you? The pressure rising when it should be easing. The sudden heaviness, the moments of discouragement that seem to come out of nowhere. You've been wondering why things feel harder right when you expected peace. But I need you to understand this warfare often increases in the final stretch. The battle has intensified not because you're off course, but because you're right where you need to be. The enemy is not attacking you randomly. He's friend. He sees the territory you're about to walk into, the anointing you're about to carry, the influence that's about to be activated, and he's afraid. He knows what I've planted in you is about to bear visible fruit, and he's doing everything he can to shake you before it breaks through the surface. That's why things have felt unusually hard. That's why your mind has been under attack. That's why doubts have whispered louder than usual and exhaustion has tried to steal your passion. But child, listen to me, this is not defeat. This is proof that the spiritual atmosphere around your life is being disrupted by your obedience. You are not weak. You are powerful. And your endurance is tearing through darkness that hoped you would give up. I never said the final steps would be easy, I said they would be worth it. You've walked a long road to get here. You've battled through seasons that would have broken others. You've stayed when others left. You've prayed when others gave up. And that steadfastness has provoked a reaction in the spirit realm. Heaven is moving, and so is hell, but you are covered. You are not fighting alone. The warfare may be real, but so is my authority. And my authority over your life has not weakened under the weight of this pressure. In fact, I'm drawing nearer in this moment than you felt in a long time. I'm reinforcing you, not because you're failing, but because I'm preparing you for what's ahead. The enemy is desperate because he sees the favor that's about to unfold over your life. He's seen the preparation. He's heard the declarations I've spoken over your future. And now he's scrambling to create distractions, to stir confusion, to send fear dressed up as wisdom. But none of his tactics can outmaneuver my hand. I am using even the season of warfare to train your spirit, to sharpen your discernment, to teach your heart how to rest under pressure, to show you the authority you carry even in the fire. You don't need to fight the way the world fights. Your weapon is worship. Your shield is faith. Your strength is in surrender, not striving. I've already gone before you. I've already declared the outcome. You're not battling for victory, you're battling from it. This pressure will not crush you. It will press the oil out of you. It will reveal the anointing I've hidden in you for such a time as this. You've asked me why it's been so heavy, and now I answer, because what's about to be birthed through you carries weight. Heaven doesn't go to war over something insignificant. And the enemy wouldn't bother fighting you if he didn't know what you're carrying is dangerous to darkness. So lift your head. Breathe again. You're not being attacked because you're weak. You're being attacked because you're a threat. And I am with you. I'm fighting for you. I am covering you in armor you didn't even know I was fitting you for in past seasons. And I say to you now, don't retreat. Don't shrink back. Don't lose heart. The intensity of the warfare is the announcement of your next chapter. You are crossing into promise, and the enemy is afraid of who you're becoming. Let the warfare remind you that you're always there. I know how heavy it has felt. I know there have been moments where it seemed like the weight pressing down on you would be the very thing that undid you. You've asked silently, Lord, why does this feel so intense? Why do I feel like I'm being stretched beyond what I can bear? But child, what you are feeling isn't the sign of something ending, it's the sign of something beginning. This pressure, this heaviness, this internal shifting, it's not here to crush you. It's here to bring forth something sacred. You are not breaking down. You are birthing something that couldn't be formed any other way. Just as a child must be carried through seasons of hidden growth before the moment of delivery, so too have I been growing something within you that the world has not yet seen. And now, the contractions have started. That's what this pressure is. A holy sign that something new is being born through your life. And like any birth, it doesn't come without stretching. It doesn't come without discomfort. But I am the one guiding this process, and I will not allow the pressure to destroy you. I will not allow the intensity to overwhelm what I've prepared you to carry. You've been faithful through the months of hiddenness. You've carried the dream, the calling, the purpose I placed within you, even when it felt invisible. Even when others couldn't see what was developing. Even when it would have been easier to let it go. What you didn't. You nurtured it in prayer. You watered it with tears. You protected it with faith. And now, it's time for it to come forth. But birth is not easy. It requires focus. It requires surrender. It requires breathing through the moments where everything in you wants to give up. But I am the midwife in this holy delivery. I am beside you in the labor. I am speaking to your spirit, saying, put. Don't quit now. You're almost there. The very thing that has caused you pain will soon become your testimony. The very pressure that's made you feel weak is actually unlocking strength you didn't know you had. I've built you for this. I've equipped you for this. And what's on the other side of this pain is a joy that will be unspeakable. Others may not understand why you've been so stretched. They may look at your life and not comprehend the warfare, the inner battles, the moments of deep soul wrestling. But I do. Because I've been forming something in you that will outlive you. Something that carries eternal value. Something that was designed in the mind of heaven long before you ever took your first breath. And now, that purpose is pressing to the surface. A dream is demanding room to be born. So don't resist the pressure. Don't misinterpret it as punishment. This is promotion in disguise. This is increase hidden in intensity. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. And in the very places where the pain feels sharpest, that is where the promise is nearest. I've placed you in this moment because I trust you to carry what's coming. Not everyone can steward the weight of glory I'm about to release through your life. But you can. You've been shaped for it, trained for it, readied in the fire for it. And soon, what you've been carrying in secret will be visible for others to see, not to bring you praise, but to bring me glory. So keep breathing. Keep pushing. Keep trusting. The pressure will not last forever, but what's birthed from it will. I am with you in every contraction. And soon, you'll see with your own eyes what I've been forming all along. Not a breakdown, a breakthrough, not an end, a beginning. And it's coming through you. There's something sacred about this moment, something urgent that heaven is pressing into your spirit right now. I'm not asking you to wait until tomorrow. I'm not asking you to carry it one more day. Before this night gives way to morning, I want you to bring everything, yes, everything, and lay it at my feet. Not just the pain, not just the prayers. I mean the whole burden you've been silently dragging behind you. I see how you've been trying to manage it, trying to sort through it, trying to stay strong for everyone else. But this was never yours to carry alone. That weight you've been shouldering, it's been pressing too hard against your heart, and I never intended for it to stay there. You've been managing when I've called you to surrender. You've been calculating outcomes when I've invited you to trust. Tonight, I want you to stop holding on to what's been slowly draining your soul. I want you to empty it at my feet, not with fear, not with guilt, but with childlike honesty. Bring me the unspoken worries. Bring me the hidden shame. Bring me the things you've been too afraid to say out loud. Lay down your timelines. Lay down your expectations. Lay down the disappointments you've been too gracious to admit have hurt you. I am not intimidated by your pain. I am not ashamed of your weariness. I'm not overwhelmed by the mess you think you've made. I want you all. I want the whole of you, not the cleaned up version. Not the part you think I'll approve of. I want the real you. You were never meant to stand before me in perfection. You were meant to collapse in my presence and find rest. You've been trying to make progress, but the weight has slowed you. And I can't give you what's next until you release what's old. That's why I'm calling you here, right now, tonight. I'm not looking for performance. I'm asking for surrender. The kind that says, I don't have to understand it all. I just have to trust the one who does. Because at my feet, things change. At my feet, what's heavy becomes light. What's tangled becomes simple. What's broken begins to mend. My feet are not a place of judgment, they are a place of mercy. When you sit here, I don't look at you with disappointment. I look at you with love. The kind of love that stoops to wash dirt-covered feet. The kind of love that reaches into the mud and still calls you clean. This is holy ground. This is a moment where your spirit meets heaven's healing. And all I want is your surrender. Let go of the idea that you have to hold it all together. Let go of the fear that says, if I drop it, everything will fall apart. Child, things fall apart more quickly when you carry what wasn't meant for your hands. That anger, it belongs at my feet. That guilt, it belongs at my feet. That uncertainty about the future, the anxiety you've been hiding with a smile, the ache that no one else even notices, it all belongs here, in my presence, where the supernatural touches the natural and transforms it completely. Don't carry it another step. Lay it down. Let me take what's been too heavy for too long. Let me trade it for rest. Before tonight ends, shoes release. Don't let the clock strike midnight with your heart still burdened. This isn't about rushing, it's about responding. I'm here now, waiting. My hands are open. My heart is ready. And my feet are the safest place you'll ever find. Come, my child. Lay it all down and watch what I'll lift in return. Bring it all to me. Every piece of it. Don't sort through it trying to decide what's worth handing over. I want it all. I want the weight of your worries, the ones that keep you up at night. The ones that sneak into your thoughts while you're trying to stay focused. I see the mental lists you go over again and again, trying to figure out how you'll make it all work. The bills, the relationships, the responsibilities, the unexpected turns. You are constantly trying to carry them in your own strength, but it was never meant to be your burden. Let me carry what's been carrying you too long. You weren't created to live under constant strain. You were created to live in constant connection with me, and in my presence, there is rest for your restless mind. Your deadlines. I know the ticking clock feels louder than my whisper sometimes. You see the calendar filling up, the decisions looming, the moments slipping away, and you fear you'll miss something important. But I hold time in my hands. I am never late. I am never early. I am perfect in my timing. That means you don't need to panic when things aren't moving as fast as you hoped. Delays are not denials, they are divine pauses that protect, prepare, or redirect. When you trust me with your time, you'll begin to notice that what seemed last minute was actually right on time. Your heartbreak. Yes, even that belongs with me. I know how deep the ache runs. I've seen how you've tried to appear okay while carrying silent grief. I've watched you pretend to move on, when pieces of your heart were still bleeding inside. I don't just acknowledge your heartbreak, I feel it. I stood with you when the relationship ended, when the betrayal stung, when the loss cut deep. I heard the cries you buried behind your smile. And I want you to know healing is still possible. I don't dismiss your pain. I redeem it. I'm not afraid of the depth of your sorrow. I'll sit in it with you until you're ready to stand again. My love isn't here to push you past your grief. It's here to walk with you through it. And your confusion, oh, how I long to bring peace to that. I've watched you wrestle with questions that never seem to end. What do I do next? Did I miss your will? Am I even hearing you right? These are the cries that echo in your soul. But child, I am not the author of confusion. I don't speak in riddles or lead with chaos. My direction may not always come in the way you expect, but it always comes with peace. You don't need to fear making the wrong move. If your heart is surrendered, I will redirect you as needed. I can reroute you. I can restore missed moments. What I need is your trust, not perfect understanding. Even when you can't see 10 steps ahead, if you'll walk in faith just one step at a time, I'll guide your path. Bring it all. The weight, the mess, the unanswered questions, the unhealed wounds, the urgent needs. Nothing is too much for me. I will never be overwhelmed by what overwhelms you. I am not surprised by your breaking point. I've been waiting for you to hand it over so I can finally show you how light life can feel when it's carried in my strength. I want you to experience peace that doesn't depend on everything making sense. I want you to feel what it's like to live without being crushed by things I never asked you to carry. There's freedom here, right now. All I ask is that you release it. Don't guard it. Don't protect it. Don't rationalize why you need to keep holding on. Just give it to me. I will mishandle what matters to you. I will lift what's heavy and replace it with peace, not temporary relief, but deep, soul-anchoring peace. The kind that carries you through storms and keeps you steady. So come. Place your worries, your deadlines, your heartbreak, and your confusion in my hands and let me give you the rest your heart has longed for. I see how hard you've been trying to hold it all together, balancing emotions you never asked for, carrying responsibilities that wear on your soul, pushing through the weight of what no one else seems to notice. I've watched you do everything in your strength, telling yourself you could handle it, trying to appear composed when the truth is you feel like you're barely staying afloat. But hear me, child, I never asked you to carry it alone. And I never designed you to shoulder burdens that belong in my hands. I can carry it better than you ever could. Not because you're weak, but because I'm strong in ways no human strength could ever compare. I am your safe place. I am the lifter of heavy things. I never grow weary. I never run out of patience. I never collapse under the weight of emotions or demands or heartbreak. I carry effortlessly what causes your spirit to tremble. And I carry it with tenderness, not distance. I don't just lift it, I feel it. Every fear you've stuffed down, every worry you've tried to numb, every what if that loops in your mind, I know it all. And I invite you, right now, to hand it over. You don't have to hold on to the stress that keeps stealing your peace. You don't have to bear the guilt of outcomes you cannot control. That pressure in your chest, that exhaustion behind your smile, that's your heart telling you it was never meant to live like this. I know you mean well. I know you've been trying your best. But your best doesn't have to mean breaking. Surrender is not a failure. It's an act of trust. It's a holy decision that says, Jesus, I believe you can carry this better than I can. And I can. I can carry the burden without dropping you. I can hold the unknown future while anchoring you in present peace. I can manage the outcomes you've been stressing over. You don't have to plan every detail when the one who holds all of eternity is walking with you step by step. Do you remember how many times you worried about something that never even happened? That's the cost of carrying weight I never meant for you to lift. I want better for you. I want you to breathe again. I want you to wake up in the morning without dread whispering first. I want you to rest without your thoughts racing toward tomorrow. Let me take the weight. Let me be what I promised I would be: your refuge, your defender, your strong tower, your source. I don't love you less because you're tired. I love you enough to reach for what you've hidden. I'm not asking you to hand me only the spiritual concerns. I want all of it. The bills, the timelines, the grief, the relationships, the uncertainty, the parts of your heart that feel too messy to name. Nothing is off limits to me. I won't scoff at your fears. I won't roll my eyes at your breakdown. I'm here for it all, and I will not fumble what you trust me with. When I carry something, I redeem it. I renew it. I restore what was damaged in the weight of it. And I lift you, to not just the burden. I lift your head. I lift your heart. I lift your hope. I lift your perspective until you see clearly again. Because I love you too much to let you live buried by things I've already offered to carry. So right now, wherever you are, pause. Take a breath. And simply say, Jesus, it's yours. I'll take it from there. I'm not afraid of the size of your burden. I'm only waiting for your invitation to hold it. And once I do, you'll wonder why you ever tried to carry it without me. This is the moment. The weight is not yours anymore, it's mine. You've been exhausting yourself trying to map out every possibility, to prepare for every outcome, to calculate the risks of every decision. You've been carrying the weight of 1,000 what-ifs in your mind, hoping that if you just think hard enough, plan long enough, you'll somehow avoid pain or failure. But child, that's never what I asked of you. I never told you that you had to figure everything out on your own. I never placed the burden of divine understanding on your human shoulders. That's too heavy for your heart. That's too much for your mind. You weren't created to live in constant mental overload, trying to control outcomes you were never meant to hold. What I've asked from the beginning is simple. Follow me. Walk with me. Trust that I already see what's ahead and that I will lead you through it. I don't expect you to have all the answers, I just want your attention, your trust, your willingness to stay close. When you try to figure it all out alone, it creates a wall between you and my peace. It invites fear in place of faith and stress in place of stillness. I know you're trying to protect yourself. I know you're trying to avoid repeating past disappointments. But living in a constant state of planning and problem solving is not the life I designed for you. I designed you to be free in my presence. I designed you to rest in knowing that I've already gone ahead of you. You see moments. I see the entire timeline. You see problems. I see how I'm going to use them for your good. You see delay. I see divine setup. What looks like unanswered questions to you are unfolding pieces of a masterpiece in my hands. And that's why I say stop trying to figure it all out alone. Invite me into the process. Ask me what I think. Ask me what I see. I'm not a silent observer, I'm an active guide. I'm not just watching you struggle to make the right decisions. I'm right here, offering wisdom, direction, and supernatural peace that surpasses logic. But you must let go of the need to control what only I can orchestrate. You weren't meant to solve every mystery. You were meant to walk with the one who holds the solution. Your mind was never meant to carry what your spirit was meant to release. Every time you try to piece together the future using only your own insight, you limit what I can do in your life. But when you surrender your understanding and lean into mine, you'll begin to experience freedom even in uncertainty. I'm not asking you to walk blindly. I'm asking you to walk in faith. There's a difference. Blindness is guessing. Faith is trusting that I see when you don't. You don't need a 5-year plan when you have a daily relationship with the God of eternity. I will lead you step by step. And yes, sometimes I only show you the next step because I want your dependence, not your performance. If I gave you the full picture, you'd run ahead without me. But I love you too much for that. So instead, I walk beside you, revealing just enough light for your next move, enough to keep you close, enough to teach you to listen, enough to grow your faith in the journey. You're not late. You're not lost. You're learning. This process isn't a punishment, it's preparation. It's how I'm building trust between us. Every time you come to me and say, "Lord, I don't know what to do, but I trust you," you are stepping into alignment with my heart. That's where clarity lies. That's where peace flows. So right now, I ask you to let go of the burden to understand everything. Hand me the blueprint you've been scribbling in your mind. Give me the map. And let me lead you into places you couldn't have found on your own. Stop trying to figure it all out alone. I never asked you to. I asked you to walk with me, and I'm still walking with you now. You've been trying so hard to stay strong. You've clenched your fists, braced your heart, and pushed yourself to keep moving when everything inside of you begged for rest. I've seen the way you've kept showing up for others, for responsibilities, for appearances, even when you felt like you had nothing left to give. But I want you to hear me clearly now. I am not asking you to be strong. I'm asking you to be still. You've confused my presence with pressure. You thought that walking with me meant proving your strength every day. But that's not what I've called you to. I didn't come to burden you with impossible standards. I came to be your strength when yours runs out. I never said, perform. I said, abide. I never asked you to do it all. I asked you to come to me when you're weary, and I promised I would give you rest. The kind of rest that restores more than your body. The kind that heals your mind, calms your emotions, and strengthens your soul. But rest begins with stillness. Not the absence of activity, but the absence of striving. Stillness is not about doing nothing, it's about doing what matters from a place of peace. It's the posture of surrender. It's where your heart says, I trust you more than I trust my own effort. I know that's hard. I know you've lived in a world that celebrates busyness and worships strength. But I am not the world. I am your shepherd. And my way is different. In my kingdom, the ones who wait are not forgotten, they are the ones who are being filled. The ones who lean on me are not weak, they are wise. Stillness is not passivity. It's a declaration that you know who holds your life. When you sit in my presence, when you stop rushing and striving and planning and pushing, you make space for me to speak. You create room for me to move. Some of the things you've been asking me to fix, I've been waiting for you to release. You've been carrying burdens I never placed on you, thinking it's your job to hold it all together. But you don't need to hold it all together. You just need to let me hold you. My strength is not something you earn, it's something I give freely to those who stop pretending they don't need it. You don't impress me by pushing through your breaking point. You honor me when you say, Lord, I can't do this without you. That's where the breakthrough begins, not in willpower, but in surrender. Stillness says, you are God, and I don't have to be. Stillness allows your spirit to exhale. It invites me to carry what's too heavy and to reorder what feels out of control. You're not failing by being tired. You're not weak because you need rest. You're human. And I, the one who formed your frame, know how fragile you can feel. That's why I invite you to stop striving and simply be still in me. You won't miss your purpose by pausing in my presence. You will find it there. You won't fall behind by resting in my timing. You'll arrive exactly when and where you're meant to. So, stop trying to prove how strong you are. I already know you're brave. I already see how hard you fought. Now let me fight for you. Let me speak peace over your chaos. Let me calm the racing thoughts. Let me remind you that I am working, even when you're resting. This is holy stillness. This is the kind of peace the world can't give and can't take away. And I'm offering it to you right now. So let go. Be still. Not because it all makes sense, but because I am still God, and you are still mine. You've been battling so long that it's become second nature to brace yourself for the next storm. You're always preparing, always guarding, always anticipating another wave to crash over you. I've seen the weariness in your spirit, the kind that doesn't come from physical exhaustion, but from fighting battles in silence. You've been strong for so long, but now I want you to lay down your sword. Not because I'm asking you to give up, but because I'm asking you to give it over. Let me fight for you, my child. The war you've been engaged in is not yours to win alone. The burden you've carried, the people you've tried to save, the outcomes you've obsessed over, those are mine now. The enemy has tried to convince you that if you don't push, nothing will happen. That if you don't fight harder, pray longer, perform better, the breakthrough will never come. But that's not how my kingdom works. In my kingdom, surrender is strength. Faith is your weapon. And rest is not defeated as trust. I am the one who goes before you. I am the one who stands behind you. I am the one who surrounds you on all sides. And I am not passive in your pain. I am not indifferent to your struggle. I am actively fighting battles on your behalf that you don't even know exist. When you sleep, I war. When you wait, I work. And when you trust, I triumph through you. You don't need to have the perfect words in prayer for me to move. You don't need to show me how desperate you are, I already know. I've seen your heart. I've heard the cries you couldn't even speak. And I say to you now, let me take the lead. You were never meant to fight alone. The weight of warfare has drained your soul because you've been trying to fight spiritual battles with human strength. You've been swinging at shadows, hoping something would finally shift. But I want you to understand the authority to overcome doesn't come from striving. It comes from staying rooted in me. I don't need you to wrestle for victory, I've already secured it. What I need is your agreement. Your yes. Your willingness to let go of control so I can step into the space you've tried to manage on your own. The greatest victories in your life will not come when you force open the doors. They'll come when you stop knocking and sit in my presence long enough to let me open what no man can shut. I am fighting for your peace. I am fighting for your family. I am fighting for your purpose. I am fighting for your healing. You don't have to keep wearing yourself thin trying to hold it all together. My hands are stronger. My shoulders are broader. My plan is better. And even though the battle has been long, you are not losing because I'm still standing with you. There are things happening in the unseen realm that are shifting even now. Angels are moving. Chains are breaking. Enemies are being scattered. Because you chose to trust instead of fear. Because you chose to release instead of control. I am not a distant warrior. I am your defender. I see the injustice. I see the warfare. I see the things that have tried to come against you, and I laugh at their attempt. And nothing formed against you will prosper when you allow me to be your shield. So come back into the place of rest. Not because the war is over, but because you are no longer alone in it. I'm stepping in. I'm raising my banner over you. And where your hands have grown tired, mine are just beginning. Let me fight for you, my child. The victory belongs to me, but the peace that comes with it belongs to you. You've done well to keep moving forward, even when everything in you longed to collapse. You've carried yourself through seasons when the weight in your spirit was heavier than anything people could see on the outside. You've smiled through exhaustion, spoken hope even when your own heart was silent, and stayed present when your soul only wanted to escape. And I want you to know I've seen all of it. I haven't just seen the actions. I've seen the internal struggle behind them. I've seen the heaviness that settles over you in quiet moments, the kind of tired that no nap can cure. That's not just physical fatigue, it's soul weariness. And today, I am not offering you more pressure, more tasks, more expectations. I am offering you rest. Not the kind of rest the world promises, the kind that fades the moment another demand rises, but a rest that enters your very being and begins to rebuild you from the inside out. I am sending rest, not as a temporary pause, but as a holy reset. You were never meant to live burned out and depleted. You were never created to constantly perform while hiding how tired you feel on the inside. I didn't design you to run endlessly without breathing. I designed you to walk with me, to move at the pace of grace. The world pushes, but I invite. The world drains, but I fill. The world expects more, but I offer rest. Real rest. The kind that silences anxiety and anchors your identity not in what you do, but in who you are. Mine. The weariness you feel is not weakness. It's a signal that something deeper needs care. And I care deeply about that part of you. You've been running on empty, and I know you've tried to pour from a dry cup, hoping it would somehow be enough. But I want you to stop trying to be everything for everyone else while neglecting your own soul. Come to me and rest. Not because you've earned it, but because I love you. You don't need to qualify for my rest. You just need to receive it. I'm not disappointed in you for feeling tired. I'm not shaking my head, wondering why you haven't done more. No, child, I'm drawing you closer, ready to restore what's been drained by endless striving and silent suffering. You don't have to keep going at this pace. You don't have to keep pretending you're okay when you're running on survival. Rest is not quitting. Rest is trusting. It's laying down the belief that you have to carry it all. It's releasing control long enough to be healed by my presence. I want to quiet the storm inside of you. I want to slow the noise, remove the pressure, and place peace back into the spaces where stress has lived too long. Let me restore the wonder you've lost. Let me renew the joy that's been buried beneath exhaustion. Let me return you to a place of wholeness, not perfection, but presence. My presence. That's where rest lives. And when I give rest, it doesn't just ease your mind, it strengthens your spirit. It reminds you that you are not alone in your battles. It recenters your heart so you stop measuring your worth by what you can carry. I'm not calling you to prove yourself. I'm calling you to come sit with me, to breathe again, to remember that you're loved not for what you do, but for who you are. You are my beloved, and your tired heart is safe in my hands. So let go of the guilt that tells you rest is lazy. Let go of the lie that says you have to keep performing. Let me do for you what no schedule or success ever could. Restore your soul. I am sending rest, my child. Receive it. Embrace it. Let it wash over you like a healing river. The season of striving is ending. The season of resting in me has already begun. What your soul has been crying out for is not just another hour of sleep, not just a day off or a slower pace. What you're really longing for is deeper. What you need is rest that reaches the unseen places inside of you, rest for your spirit. The kind of rest that doesn't come from shutting your eyes, but from opening your heart fully to me. You see, physical rest can refresh your body, but only I can restore what life has worn down within you. I know the difference between the kind of tired that a good night's sleep fixes and the kind of tired that comes from carrying invisible burdens. You've been living with a quiet ache in your soul, even on days when everything seems fine on the surface. You've smiled. You've shown up. You've gone through the motions, but underneath, there's been a deep weariness. That, my child, is the kind of tired I want to heal. That's the place where I want to pour my rest. This rest is not the absence of responsibility. It's not a vacation or escape. It's a state of peace that follows you wherever you go. It's the kind of stillness that anchors you in the middle of movement. Even when the demands don't disappear, your soul can be at peace. Because true rest doesn't come from your schedule being empty, it comes from your spirit being full of me. When you dwell in me, when you stop long enough to breathe in my presence, you'll find that the things that used to overwhelm you don't have the same power anymore. That's what I'm offering you, not just a moment of relief, but a continual refuge. A resting place where you are fully seen, fully known, and still fully loved. You don't have to keep striving to keep everything from falling apart. I know what you're holding. I know what's been silently breaking inside you. And I'm not asking you to fix it before you come to me. I'm asking you to come to me so I can bring restoration into the places you didn't even realize were depleted. You've grown used to this internal weariness, but I never intended for you to live with a soul that runs on empty. That tension you carry in your chest, that fog in your mind, that disconnects you from joy, it's not just mental or emotional. It's spiritual. And I want to meet you there, in the deepest part of you, where no words are needed. I want to breathe life into the places that have been silent too long. You might think it's too late to feel whole again, that this kind of peace isn't possible for someone like you, but it is. It always has been. You were never meant to carry peace like a guest that comes and goes. You were meant to live in it like a home. And this peace, this rest I give, it cannot be shaken by bad news, stressful days, or the noise of the world. Because it is not based on anything outside of you, it flows from within, where my spirit lives. I've planted rest inside of you, and I'm calling you to return to it. To return to me. Let me quiet the inner storm. Let me hold your heart so gently that you forget what it felt like to always brace for the worst. Let me replace that chronic tension with deep calm, not momentary calm, but a soul-level confidence that I've got you. You don't have to prove anything to rest here. You don't have to earn it. This isn't a reward for getting everything right, it's a gift I give freely because I love you. I see how desperately you need it, and I'm not turning away. I'm drawing closer. Right now. As you read this, I am wrapping peace around your spirit like a soft blanket. Let it in. Don't resist it. Don't overthink it. Just receive. Let me give you what this world never can, not just sleep, but true rest for your soul. What I am offering you is not an empty pause or a temporary break. It is sacred. It is deep. It is purposeful. The rest I give you is unlike anything the world has ever shown you. It is rest that heals, rest that restores, rest that prepares. This rest is not an interruption to your life, it is the very soil in which your next season will grow. You see, healing happens in stillness. It happens when you are no longer trying to impress or survive, but simply breathe in the truth of my love for you. You cannot heal when you are constantly running, constantly solving, constantly giving. That's why I've been calling you closer to still you, not to stop your purpose, but to revive it. You've tried to pour from a place that hasn't been filled. You've kept showing up when your heart was quietly unraveling. You've spoken life to others while silence filled your own soul. But I've seen it. I've never missed a moment of your quiet pain. And I am not ignoring what you've been carrying in the secret places. I've drawn you into rest not to avoid your pain, but to meet you inside it. This is where the healing begins, not in striving for it, but in surrendering to it. My rest brings wholeness to the fractured places. It doesn't ignore your wounds, it anoints them. And the parts of you that have felt forgotten, neglected, numb, those are the places I'm touching first. I want to restore what's been worn out by the constant motion. I want to refresh what's been parched by prolonged delay. You're not being lazy when you rest, you're being made whole. But this rest is not only for your healing, it is also for your preparation. What I have planned for you next is not ordinary. It's not small. It carries weight, and with that weight comes responsibility, clarity, and depth. I do not send you unprepared. I never push you into the next without first preparing you in the now. That's why I'm slowing you down. Not to hold you back, but to build you up. to teach your spirit how to walk with me, not ahead of me. To show you that true power is found not in performance, but in presence, my presence. This time of rest is not wasted. It is holy ground. Every quiet moment, every prayer whispered through tired lips, every time you sit in silence just to be near me, it is all part of the preparation. I am shaping you in the stillness. You're learning to listen beyond the noise. You're discovering how to move with peace, not pressure. And soon, when I say go, you will rise not as someone barely recovering, but as someone refreshed, focused, grounded in truth. This rest is building strength beneath the surface. It is repairing your spiritual foundation so that what I place on it next does not collapse under pressure. I want you steady. I want you rooted. I want you ready. It's why rest is the first step. Before miracles come, before doors open, before dreams awaken, I rest, my beloved. Let me heal what you've buried. Let me restore what time tried to take. Let me prepare you for more than you imagined. Don't rush this. Don't resist this. Rest is not punishment. It's the proof that I care not just about what you do, but about who you are. You are more than your progress. You are more than your productivity. You are mine. And I take joy in watching you breathe again, in watching you receive again, in watching you become again. So rest, not with fear that you're falling behind, but with confidence that I am working even when you're still. I am writing your next chapter with my own hand. And right now, the ink of rest is soaking into the pages. Let it sink deep. Healing is happening. Restoration is unfolding. And your spirit is being prepared for more than you know. I know the waiting hath been long. I know there have been moments when it felt like the words I spoke over your life had faded into silence. You've questioned whether you misheard me, whether those promises were only for a season now past. You've wondered if I changed my mind, if your circumstances somehow disqualified you from what I said I would do. But let me speak directly to your heart right now, my beloved. I have not forgotten. Not a single word I've spoken over you has been lost. Not one promise has expired. I do not speak lightly, and I do not retract what I declare in love and truth. When I speak a promise over someone, I seal it with eternity. That includes you. There were days when you felt close to the promise, days when it felt like you could almost touch it. And then, suddenly, things shifted. You faced detours you didn't expect, delays you didn't understand, disappointments that left you wondering if I had turned away. But I need you to understand that my promises are not like fragile threads that break under pressure. They are rooted in my character, not your performance. I don't abandon what I begin. I finish every story I write, and I write them with a pen dipped in purpose, not uncertainty. You see, the promise hasn't vanished, it's been maturing. Just like a seed hidden beneath soil doesn't disappear when it's out of sight, so too have my promises been taking root in the unseen. I've been working in silence, refining the details, lining hearts, preparing the timing. And yes, I've also been shaping you. Not because you were unworthy, but because I wanted to strengthen you for the weight of what's coming. Some promises are so significant, they require more than your desire, they require your development. And that's what I've been doing, developing endurance in your waiting, deepening your trust, removing the need to control every outcome. I didn't forget what I told you. I didn't set it aside. I've been carrying it in my heart with the same urgency you feel in your spirit. In fact, it's my spirit who placed that longing in you to begin with. You ache for it because I designed you to walk in it. That longing is not proof of my absence, it's proof that the promise is alive. And even when everything around you says not yet, I want you to hold on to this. Delay is not denial. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean I'm not working. My timing may stretch your faith, but it will never betray it. I know exactly when to bring things to pass. And when I do, it won't be fragile. It won't be forced. It will be full and overflowing. You haven't missed it. You haven't fallen behind. What I promised you is not dependent on perfect conditions, it's dependent on my unchanging will. and I am faithful. Always. Even when the path is unclear. Even when you don't feel strong. Even when others can't see what I've shown you. I never forget what I speak. My words are not suggestions. They are declarations. They carry the same creative power that spoke stars into existence. And that same voice whispered promises over your life, ones that are still alive, still active, still unfolding. So don't give up hope. Don't bury what I planted. Water it again with trust. Speak life over it with faith. Even if it's taken years, even if it looks impossible now, I specialize in fulfillment that exceeds human timelines. What I start, I complete. And the day is coming, child, when you will look back and see how every waiting season, every silent stretch, every moment of surrender led you closer to what I always intended for you to receive. My promise over your life is still in effect. I have not forgotten. And soon, neither will you. What I have spoken over your life is not a memory, it's a living truth. It did not fade with time. It did not grow weaker with your waiting. My word over you is still alive, just as powerful now as the moment I first declared it. Unlike the words of man that waver and vanish, mine are eternal. They carry life. They carry purpose. They do not sit dormant. They breathe, move, expand, and accomplish what I send them to do. You may not see all of it yet, but in the unseen, my word is already working. It's shifting the atmosphere around you. It's positioning people. It's creating doors. It's softening hearts. It's stirring boldness in you that wasn't there before. Just because something hasn't become visible doesn't mean it's not alive. I want you to understand that what I've declared over you is still growing. Like a seed planted beneath the soil. It may not look active, but its roots are reaching deeper every day. Some of the most significant movements in the spirit happen in silence. That doesn't mean they are stagnant. It means I'm establishing something strong, something enduring, something that will collapse the moment resistance comes. And because my word is alive, it continues to speak life even when the world tries to speak death. Even when circumstances tell you to give up, my word still whispers, hold on. I'm not done. There have been moments you doubted. I saw that. There have been nights you questioned whether you truly heard me at all. I felt that too. But I never stopped watching over my word. I never stopped watching over you. When I give a word, I don't abandon it halfway through. I don't forget it. I nurture it. I protect it. I bring it to pass not through your effort, but through my power. The pressure you felt lately, that's not your failure to manifest what I said. It's the natural resistance that comes when something eternal is pressing into the natural world. But it's not your job to force it, it's your invitation to believe again. You don't need to make my word come to life, it already is. Your part is to remain connected to me, the source. Keep your heart open, even when your eyes don't see it yet. My word is not magic, it is truth wrapped in time. And sometimes, I allow time to stretch so that when the fulfillment comes, your character is ready to carry it. I am never in a rush, but I am always right on time. And the living word I spoke over you, it's waiting to meet the appointed moment. And nothing can stop it. No mistake can cancel it. No voice of opposition can silence it. Because I am not bound by what binds others. I am not limited by circumstances. I do not bend to fear or delay. My word walks forward with certainty, and it brings with it everything needed to fulfill its purpose. So listen, now lift your head. I know you've grown tired. I know the silence has felt endless. But the silence has not been empty. It's been sacred. And even in that silence, my word was moving. Breathing. Pushing back darkness. Breaking through resistance. Building something far beyond what you thought possible. You've grown, too, in ways you didn't expect. That's part of my word's work. It doesn't just prepare a future for you. It prepares you for the future. What once would have overwhelmed you is now something you're almost ready to step into. Keep walking with me. Keep your ears open and your heart soft. Don't harden yourself because of disappointment. Let me remind you, my word is still alive. It is not fading. It is not done. And neither are you. I speak life into your waiting. I speak renewal into your hope. I speak movement into what has seemed still. The word I placed over you is active, and soon what's been growing in secret will be revealed for all to see. Not to glorify you, but to glorify the one who never stopped speaking. You've looked at the calendar. You've measured time and missed chances. In years that didn't unfold the way you hoped. In moments that slipped through your fingers. There were seasons when you felt sure it was now, but now turned into not yet, and you started to wonder if not yet had quietly become never. You've carried that ache, the one that quietly asks, did I miss it? But hear me, child. Delay is not denial. My purpose over your life has not been canceled. It hasn't been forgotten. It hasn't expired. What I've spoken over you was not dependent on a deadline. It was built on my design. And I am not bound by time. I use it. You see delay as a detour. I see it as development. You view it as a disappointment. I view it as a divine pause, one that shaped you in ways the promise never could. Delay has not stolen your destiny. It strengthened your spirit. It's deepened your roots. It's exposed what needed to be healed before you walked into what I prepared. And even though the enemy tried to use the waiting to discourage you, I've used it to prepare you. I've carved out space inside you to hold what's coming, because the fulfillment will be more than you asked for. And had I answered too soon, it might have crushed what I longed to bless. I'm not simply interested in giving you what you asked. I'm interested in making you someone who can carry it well. The delays have sharpened your discernment. They've taught you how to hear my voice when the noise of the world is loud. They've anchored your identity in me instead of in results. And most of all, they've protected you. Yes, protected you. From people you didn't know would misuse access. From opportunities that looked right but weren't rooted in my spirit. From timing that seemed perfect but lacked the covering of my favor. Every delay carried my wisdom, even when it felt like disappointment. I know you've wrestled with confusion. I know you've looked around and wondered why others moved forward while you stayed still. But I want you to hear me with fresh clarity. What I've written for you is still on the way. It's not missing. It's maturing. You're not behind. You're being refined. And when the time is right, what seemed delayed will come together in a way that makes the waiting worth it. Not because the outcome is flashy, but because the outcome will be filled with my presence, my fingerprints, my undeniable hand. There's no door that has closed on you that I cannot reopen. There's no path you've missed that I cannot reroute. I am the Redeemer, not just of people, but of time. I restore what seemed lost. I multiply what looked wasted. And I bring beauty out of seasons you thought were buried for good. You've been faithful in the slow. You've stayed close even when answers did come. And that kind of faith, it moves heaven. I've not only heard your prayers, I've stored them. I've answered some in ways you haven't even recognized yet. And the ones that remain, they are not being ignored. They are being prepared for delivery in a fullness that only I can orchestrate. So, lift your eyes from the clock. Take your heart off the timeline. My pace may be slower than your expectations, but it is never late. My purpose is moving, even if it's invisible. And when it unfolds, you'll see how nothing was truly delayed. It was just perfectly aligned. Not a single tear you shed in waiting will be wasted. Not a single hope you held onto in silence will return void. I've seen it all. I've counted it all. And I will redeem it all. Even in the delay, my purpose stands. Even in the waiting, my word is alive. Even now, I am working. And soon, what was delayed will arrive right on time, carrying more than you dared to imagine. I see how long you've been holding on. You've walked through seasons that stretched you, through moments that asked more of you than you thought you had to give. You've waited with patience at times, and with quiet desperation at others. You've hoped through dry ground and spoken faith even when you weren't sure you had the strength to believe it anymore. I've watched the way you've carried the weight not just in your schedule, but in your soul. I know what it feels like when your heart grows tired, not just from the passing of time, but from the weight of expectation that never seems to lift. But hear me now, child. I am never late. Even when it feels like everything is delayed. Even when it seems like everyone else is receiving what they've prayed for, and you are still sitting in silence. Even when you've done everything you know how to do, and there is still no visible shift. I am not blind to your weariness. I am not distant from your longing. I am nearer now than you realize, and I am moving in ways your eyes have not yet caught up with. I do not measure progress by visible change alone. I measure by what is forming in the unseen, what is being shaped within you, as you learn to trust me when answers seem far. When your heart grows tired in the waiting, that's not a sign that you failed. It's a sign that you've cared deeply, that you've believed passionately, that you've hoped beyond reason, and that takes strength. Many would have given up by now, but you haven't. You're still here, still reaching for me, still hoping in the quiet. And I honor that. I see the days you show up with faith that feels like a whisper. I see the nights you cry and still choose to worship. I see the in-between moments where your heart says, Lord, I trust you, even through tears. That kind of faith is not fragile, it's fierce. It's not weak, it's refined. You've asked, why so long, Lord? And my answer isn't to dismiss your ache. My answer is this: the longer the process, the grayer the preparation. I don't delay just to test your patience, I wait to ensure that what I give is given in fullness. Because when I move in completion. I don't give pieces, I give the promise whole. I'm not just working on the outcome. I'm working on your peace. I'm working on the people involved. I'm aligning the timing, the location, the open doors, the favor required to carry it all. I'm removing what would have damaged you. I'm preparing what will sustain you. I'm orchestrating the kind of answer that not only blesses you but blesses through you. I know you wanted it sooner. I know you thought it would look different. But I haven't forgotten what I told you. My memory does not fail. My promises do not expire. And my heart has not grown indifferent to yours. If anything, I'm drawing you closer now, closer than ever. Because in the waiting, you've learned to hear me. In the stillness, you've learned to feel my presence in ways you never would have if everything had come quickly. The depth I've built in you during this season is part of the answer to your own prayers. You asked to be strong. You asked to be used. You asked for wisdom. This is where it's grown, in the space between promise spoken and promise fulfilled. So don't mistake delay for disinterest. Don't confuse my silence with absence. I have not been late. I have been exact. And when it comes, when it finally breaks forth, it will come with acceleration that makes up for lost time. You will see how the wait was never empty. It was woven with purpose, saturated in love, and covered by my hand. Rest your heart, my child. I am never late. I am right on time, and you are closer than you think. You've grown familiar with slow seasons, with long days where nothing seemed to shift, with nights where the silence felt louder than my voice. You've walked through valleys that stretched further than you imagined and waited in rooms that felt like they had no doors. But now I want you to understand something vital, something that will stir your faith again. When I arrive, everything changes suddenly. Not gradually, not eventually. Suddenly. That's how I move, when the time is right. That's how my presence transforms everything in a moment. I am not limited by process the way the world understands it. I honor growth. I value preparation. But when the hour of fulfillment comes, it will not unfold like a slow sunrise, it will burst forth like lightning. It will break through every resistance. The breakthrough you've been praying for, the promise you've been carrying, the door you've knocked on again and again, when it opens, it won't creak. It will swing wide. Suddenly. That's how I've always worked with my children. Joseph waited years in prison unnoticed and unseen, but suddenly, he stood before Pharaoh. Esther lived in obscurity, hidden behind palace walls, but suddenly, she was positioned to save a nation. One moment, Peter was sinking in the storm, then suddenly, my hand pulled him above the waves. I specialize in suddenlies. Not because I am impulsive, but because I am precise. Because I know exactly when every piece of the story is ready to align. And I want you to know, your moment is closer than you realize. You may feel like nothing is happening, like your prayers are stuck in midair, like your efforts have gone unnoticed. But while you've been waiting, I've been working. And not just working, I've been preparing a moment that shifts everything in an instant. That doctors report that changes from fear to healing. Suddenly, that relationship that seemed hopeless, restored with fresh life. Suddenly, that financial breakthrough you couldn't see coming, arriving from a source you never expected. Suddenly, I don't just restore, I do it in a way that no one else can take credit for. I show up when it seems impossible, and I leave no question that it was me. You won't have to fight for the door to open. When I open it, you'll walk through with peace. You won't have to explain why it happened. Those around you will only be able to say, God did this. The people who counted you out will have no choice but to watch me lift you up. Not for your glory, but for mine. Not to make you famous, but to make my faithfulness visible. And when it happens, it won't trickle in, it will pour. That's the nature of my arrival. It brings swift justice, swift restoration, swift joy, swift clarity, swift redemption. But while you wait for that moment, don't despise the silence. The suddenlies of heaven are built in the hidden places of surrender. You've laid down what others refuse to release. You've chosen me when shortcuts look tempting. You've held on to faith when walking away would have been easier. All of that matters. All of that counts. And none of it has been overlooked. You're not waiting for something random, you're aligned for something divine. So prepare your heart, not with anxious striving, but with quiet confidence. Because I'm coming into that situation. I'm stepping into that prayer. I'm arriving not in pieces, but in power. And when I do, you'll know it was never about your timing. It was always about mine. The years the enemy tried to convince you were wasted, I will redeem them in a moment. The dreams you thought were buried, I will resurrect them with one word. When I arrive, I don't just fix things, I make them new. And I'm not far off, child. I'm at the threshold. But ready. Breathe again. Stand in expectancy, not fear. Because when I step into a room, everything bows: confusion, sickness, delay, fear. All of it. And when I step into your life in this next season, you'll see what I've been planning all along. And you'll say through tears of awe, it happened suddenly. There are doors you've stood before, praying for them to open. There are paths you've waited to walk down, dreams you've dared to believe for, opportunities that seem just out of reach. Some have been slammed shut in your face. Others never even cracked open. And I know that at times, those closed doors have felt like rejection. They've made you question your calling, your timing, your worth. But listen to me now, those doors were not left unopened because you weren't enough. They were unopened because they weren't mine. And I am the one who opens doors no man can shut. When I open a door, no circumstance can block it. No voice of opposition can override it. No delay, no failure, no strategy of the enemy can lock what I have chosen to unlock. You've been knocking, waiting, hoping, and I want you to know, I've heard every knock. I've seen every effort. But more than that, I've been preparing my doors. Not the ones that look good from the outside, but the ones that lead you exactly where you're meant to go. The doors I open are not just opportunities, they are assignments. They are places of alignment with purpose, with timing, with divine favor that can't be manufactured. Some doors I kept closed for your protection. Yes, even the ones you begged me to open. Because I saw beyond what you could see. I saw the weight it would have placed on you, the distraction it would have caused, the compromise it would have required. And because I love you too much to give you something prematurely, I waited. I withheld what looked right because I was grasping what is right. And now, the season is shifting. Now, the sound of hinges turning is beginning to echo in the spirit. I'm opening what no one can block. I'm making a way where there seemed to be no way. The doors I open will not require you to strive your way through. You won't need to beg for access. You won't need to manipulate or compete or prove anything. You'll simply walk through because I opened it. The peace you'll feel when the right door opens will confirm what your soul already knows. This is it. This is him. And you will know it wasn't coincidence. It wasn't networking. It wasn't luck. It was me. It was my favor. It was my appointed moment breaking through the natural world. I open doors that lead to growth, not exhaustion. Doors that pull you deeper into your purpose, not away from your identity. Doors that make you better, stronger, clearer, not more confused. I will not tease you with opportunity. I will lead you through doors that are saturated in my presence and sealed with my fingerprints. When I open something, it won't be fragile. It won't require you to sacrifice your peace to keep it open. It will remain, not because of your strength, but because of my word. There are doors you stopped knocking on because you were tired. There are promises you've left behind because you thought the window had closed. But I am reigniting hope in your heart tonight. I am stirring boldness in your spirit to believe again, to expect again, not in your ability to open the door, but in my power to open it for you. And who won't just walk through it, who'll walk through and change you. Empowered. Immediate. Marked by my glory. So stop worrying about the ones who shut you out. Stop grieving the ones who never opened. None of those were the final say. I am the door. I am the key. And what I unlock, no man can shut. Stand ready, child. You're about to hear doors opening, doors you didn't even know existed. And when they open, everything that's been held back will begin to flow. The wait will make sense. The delays will be redeemed. And you will step into what I have prepared, not with striving but with confidence. Because I am the one who opens doors. And this time, they are opening for you. You stepped through doors before that looked like blessings, but brought only pressure. You said yes to things that seemed right in the moment, good opportunities, logical paths, decisions that made sense on paper, but instead of peace, you found yourself burdened. Instead of joy, you carried weight. And now, you hesitate when new doors appear. You wonder, will this lead me into purpose or will it drain me again? Child, I want to clear the fog around your discernment. When I open a door, it will lead you into peace, not pressure. Not the kind of peace the world tries to imitate, but the deep, unmistakable kind that settles in your spirit even before anything makes sense around you. The world defines progress by busyness. It chases productivity at the cost of peace. It tells you that if an opportunity doesn't exhaust you, it isn't worth anything. But I do not lead like that. I do not drive you into stress to prove a point. I do not demand that you sacrifice your soul to fulfill your purpose. My doors do not come with pressure, they come with presence. You'll know it's from me not because it pushes you to the edge, but because it draws you closer to me. It centers your heart. It brings clarity. It invites rest even while you're moving forward. My doors carry the fragrance of my spirit, light, freeing, unmistakable. You've had to learn the hard way how to distinguish the invitations that wear you down from the ones that lift you up. But that discernment was not for nothing. I've been teaching you not just to follow opportunity, but to follow peace. Because where my spirit leads, there is peace. Where I guide, there is order, not chaos. Yes, challenges may still come. Yes, growth may still stretch you. But the burden of it will never be one you carry alone. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. If the weight feels crushing, it's not from me. You see, I'm not interested in getting you somewhere fast. I'm interested in getting you there whole. And wholeness doesn't grow under the pressure of performance. It grows in the atmosphere of peace. That's why I sometimes close doors that look promising. Not to punish you, but to protect your rest. To preserve your heart. To guard your future from being entangled in responsibilities I never asked you to take on. Some doors are loud and crowded and full of opportunities that drain your identity. But the ones I open, they lead you into rooms where you are free to breathe, free to be who I created you to be, free to flourish without striving. You paint for favor. I'm answering with peace. Because true favor isn't about flashing lights and constant movement, it's about knowing, deep in your bones, that you are where you're supposed to be. That's what my open doors bring. They will demand more than you can give. They will require you to compromise what matters most. They won't rob you of your sleep or hijack your joy. Instead, they'll anchor you. They'll stabilize you. They'll remind you that you're not walking into opportunity, you're walking into alignment. So don't rush. Don't panic when doors don't open immediately. The right one, my door, will open at the exact moment your spirit is ready, and when it does, you'll walk through it without hesitation, because the peace will be undeniable. It will meet you like a familiar friend, settle into your chest, and whisper, "This is where you belong." You won't have to fight for it. You'll simply follow me into it. Let go of the fear that says you have to say yes to everything. Let go of the guilt that tells you rest is weakness. Let go of the lie that you missed your chance. My doors are not bound by human timelines. I am the keeper of every key. And when I open the right door for you, it won't feel like a performance, it will feel like peace. That's how you will know it's me. And that's where I want to lead you into a life not of pressure, but of peace. You've been running, haven't you? Not always physically, but in your heart. Always reaching, always searching, trying to hold everything together, trying to stay ahead, trying to make things happen before time runs out. You've chased opportunities, affirmation, provision, and clarity like they were slipping away, like if you didn't run fast enough, you'd miss your moment. But child, hear me clearly. What I've prepared for you is not running away from you. It's not something you have to chase. You were never designed to live in pursuit of what I've already ordained to come to you in its time. When I make a promise, I don't leave the fulfillment of it on your shoulders. I don't say, "Here's what I'll do," but only if you find a way to force it into existence. No, my promises are not scavenger hunts. They are secured by my faithfulness, not your striving. You are not meant to chase what is already on its way. You are meant to walk with me, and as you walk, what is meant for you will find you. It doesn't mean you won't have to act in obedience. It doesn't mean you'll sit idle. But it does mean you'll no longer live in panic, running after things I've already commanded to meet you. I know the world glorifies the hustle. It praises the ones who never stop, who sacrifice everything to get ahead. But my kingdom doesn't operate on desperation. It flows through surrender. You don't have to prove anything to receive what I've prepared. You don't have to force doors open. You don't have to chase people, titles, status, or timing. I have already gone ahead of you. I have already aligned what needs to be aligned. Your only job is to remain close to me, because as you abide in me, everything you need begins to align itself with your journey. You don't need to chase provision. I am your provider. You don't need to chase connection. I bring the right people at the right time. You don't need to chase approval. My love for you has already settled your worth. Every time you chase something in fear, you tell your soul that I might not come through. But every time you rest in me, you declare with your life, He is faithful. He will not fail me. Let me shift your pace. Let me calm the frantic rhythm of your heart. Let me silence the lie that says, if I don't run after it, I'll lose it. What's from me cannot be stolen. What's from me will not need to be manipulated. What's from me will not demand that you lose yourself in order to gain it. If something is asking you to compromise your peace, your values, or your connection with me, it's not from me. What I give with peace. I give with confirmation. I give with timing that honors not only the promise, but the process you've been through to receive it. There is a better way. It's the way of trust, of steady footsteps, of faith that says, I don't need to chase, I need to align. And alignment doesn't look like running in every direction hoping something sticks. It looks like walking in step with my spirit, listening for my voice, trusting my pace even when it doesn't match the urgency around you. Because here's the truth. What I've prepared for you is not ahead of you because you're behind. It's ahead of you because I'm drawing you forward into it. And when the time comes, it will not require frantic effort, it will require faithful obedience. So breathe again. Let go of the anxiety that's told you you're missing out. You haven't missed anything I've written for your life. Rest in the assurance that what I prepared is not just coming, it's coming on time, wrapped in peace, and filled with purpose. And when it arrives, you won't have to chase it. You will recognize it. You will step into it. And you will know it was me all along bringing it to you, not because you chased it down, but because you followed me. You've been carrying expectations that I never placed on you. The pressure to always be strong, to always say the right thing, to always appear like you've got it all together. None of that came from me. That came from people, from systems, from voices that measured your worth by what you produce, not by who you are. Somewhere along the way, you started believing that your value came from how well you perform, how consistently you achieve, how perfectly you please. But child, I need you to hear me now. The pressure to perform was never mine, it was theirs. And it's time to let it go. I never asked you to be flawless. I never demanded perfection from you to earn my love. You've been running under a weight that was never meant to be yours, a burden built by comparison, competition, and fear of rejection. You've worn masks to avoid judgment. You've overcommitted out of fear that saying no would mean you were less than. And all the while, your soul has been whispering, this doesn't feel right. That whisper was me, gently reminding you that you're already accepted, already chosen, already enough, not because of what you do, but because of who you are to me. I want to strip away every false expectation that has suffocated your joy. I want to untangle your identity from the approval of others. Because you can't rest while you're constantly trying to prove yourself. You can't breathe deeply when your entire self-worth is tied to your latest performance. That is not freedom. That is captivity disguised as productivity. And I came to set you free, not to make you more efficient, but to make you whole. There is nothing you could do to make me love you more. And there is nothing you could fail to do that would make me love you less. My love is not performance-based. It's covenant-based. It's rooted in who I am, not in what you achieve. You don't have to impress me, I made you. I know your limits. I know your humanity. I know the depth of your heart, the intention behind your efforts, the tears behind your silence. And I'm not grading you, I'm holding you. You don't need to earn space in my presence. You already have it. Not because you're perfect, but because you're mine. The world has conditioned you to believe that success equals significance. But in my kingdom, significance comes from surrender. From walking with me when no one else sees. From choosing integrity over recognition. From obeying me even when there's no applause. You are not what you do. You are who I say you are. And I say you are loved. Seen. Chosen. Enough. I want you to step out from under the pressure they've put on you. The pressure to always say yes. The pressure to live the part. The pressure to never disappoint anyone. I'm not asking you to perform, I'm asking you to abide. To rest in the truth that I am pleased with you, not the curated version of you, but the real you. The you who tries. The you who stumbles. The you who gets back up again and again. That's who I love. That's who I died for. And that's who I'm speaking to now. Let me free you from their standards. Let me silence the voice of perfectionism. Let me wash off the false guilt that clings to you when you slow down. You were never meant to live for their approval. You were made to live from my love. That's where your strength is. That's where your peace lies. That's where striving ends and sonship begins. So take a deep breath. Lay down the pressure. Step out of performance and into presence. I'm not asking for your perfection, I'm offering you my peace. And once you receive it, you'll never want to go back to pretending again. You'll realize you were never called to perform. You were always called to belong. And in me you already do. Amen.